Okay? Cat by the name of E. Dilla we had on the show last week. Not really sure what I'm supposed to do here, but I'm going to do what I think is necessary and right. Okay? So last week we had E. Dilla obviously on from, he's from the Bold City Brigade, but he's got his podcast and everything, and he's essentially like the Adam Schefter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We don't know his sources. I think we figured out that he is indeed black goose, or is he white? We still don't really know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, his music taste, putting Haji Beats as your profile picture, your Avi, it throws you for a little bit of a curveball. So can't confirm the race of E. Dilla quite yet. Not a big deal. But here's the big thing, okay? He put out the schedule. Now, how accurate is it?
Yeah.
A schedule. How accurate is it? Well, he said himself. Usually he's around the ballpark of 80%. And here's Brent Martineau. Oh, you came just in time, man. I was getting ready to break it down.
You can break it down.
Oh, no.
I mean, are you going to go off what E. Dilla says?
Well,
I
no,
just got done kicking his ass.
So,
and he just spoiled Christmas.
Well, here's the thing. Do we announce it or not? Like that was like my kind of dilemma before you got in here. Is like, well, I'm not sure if I should really encourage this or not. And then I came from the standpoint of, well, guess what? The guy was on the show last week. So, well,
have we hired him yet?
We haven't hired him, but he's usually pretty right. So I think there might be something to it, Brent.
Hey,
Your
listen,
thoughts?
we put out a schedule yesterday, too. Just guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Mine was
Dilla's
trash,
just
though.
guessing, and maybe he's right.
Okay.
I mean, hey, obviously, it doesn't look like John Clayton was right about the AFC versus the NFC games early on. All the folks that thought divisional games would be backloaded, doesn't look like that's right. And I kind of hinted at that. I said that last week. I had heard that, and I know some people talked about that, but I heard that wasn't necessarily the case. So E. Dilla's schedule might be the best one right now.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Well,
whoever gets the right wins a hat.
Oh, I like it. And
Unless it's E. Dilla.
I'm sure it upsets you a little bit. See, to me, I love this because of what the NFL was trying to do, tonight. They're going to make a 3-hour show about, it's draft, it's schedule release night. Everybody grab the family, gather around. It's going to be a crazy night. I'm sure Luke Bryan is going to make another appearance, and we're going to make a whole spectacle of it. And then all of a sudden, just some guy on Twitter with, 5,000 followers from the underground just says, no, I think I'll release the schedule right now. Yeah. So, that's why, I hope it's right, number one, but I'm all about it because it's kind of essentially a big middle finger to the NFL in general. Yeah. And I'm not mad at it.
And by the way, the leak in the NFL, the Jags, wherever, better hope they don't get caught. They don't like this stuff.
Oh,
they really don't,
yeah.
And it could be multiple people and kind of piecing it together and all that. But, hey, he's having fun with it. I think we've had fun with him. I jokingly said I'm blocking you on Twitter because I kind of do want to be surprised.
You're kind of serious, though, because you're kind of upset. You're a little upset.
I'm not really that upset about it. Well, because here's the other thing. There's a 20% chance he's wrong.
Sure. There is that.
So maybe there'll be a surprise or two. We need to confirm. Here's the other. Sometimes we will get a heads up so we can print it and push it out there, but we can't really say it until. Mm-hmm. And we may get that a little bit later, not on the show. I've asked I don't want it right now.
Why?
Well, because I don't want to accidentally say something. We're not allowed to leak it out, so I wouldn't want to say it. So I can't tell you if his is right or wrong. But
blink if he's right.
I can't.
Oh, no. I mean, he was so fast with the blink. You can at least hold your eyes open a little bit. It was literally a point of a fraction of a second, and Brent Martineau blink, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't tell you. I don't know. I
Fastest
seriously
blink I've ever
asked. I
seen.
said, if you're going to do that, so give us a heads up for our web department and our graphics department and everything else, which is very nice. Things sometimes we get. If that happens, don't do it until after 6 o'clock. I don't want to know.
Okay. Yeah.
because then what happens is we say something. Say this didn't come out from Dilla. Then you say we're guessing and we're talking about the schedule, whatsoever, and you guess right, and they say, "Well, see, you said something."
No, I get it.
And I don't want that. So.
Listen, it's all part of...
I like to be surprised by it. I really do. I don't need to break the schedule.
And let's be honest, it's all about, a part of journalism as it should be is you should have more than one source, right? I mean, more people than one person should confirm.
Well, that's when we had Dilla on, that's why I said this is the BS about Dilla. He doesn't need more than one source.
Well, because he's not officially a member of the
league. He's not getting
paid for this, man.
I know it.
Yeah,
so I hope you're wrong, Dilla.
Okay. I hope he's right, just to kind of put a middle finger to the NFL, man. Don't present it as a 3-hour show to reveal the schedule. Just put it on the website. Let's move on with our lives and let's get excited for some football.
Still getting way too much credit here tonight. Let's start the show. How's everybody doing on a Thursday? Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. A little UFC conversation coming up. Justin Gaethje on the show. Am I saying that correctly?
Me and Kuz just had this joke. Yes, you are saying Justin Gaethje correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought so.
I mean, it's confusing, man. He's got a J in there.
Yeah, he's by a vowel. He's got that too.
Exactly.
When we have people on the line, I was telling Austin this. I never know what to call them. Do I say Mr. Gaethje? Do I say,
no, you don't
hey,
do
Justin?
That.
Yeah.
Because that feels weird because that's my name, too. So,
True. But I would say, hey, Justin.
Like,
I mean, he's
even
like
when
a 31-year-old fighter.
Yeah. Right, but
if it's... I don't even think Dana White would want you to call Mr. White.
No, I said, hey,
no.
Dana, and then even that felt weird.
Yeah.
You know?
This is fighting. This isn't a Fortune 500 company
But
we're
even
worried
so,
about
like
here,
when
you know?
Billy Horschel calls in, the first time I was like,
Billy.
hey, Mr. Horschel, and I was like,
I
that
see you
feels
too,
weird.
Brent. Justin Gaethje, 31 years old, doing a little homework, I see. I see ya.
Here's what's interesting about that fight coming up.
Hit me with it, Brent.
How much does reach matter in the fight? Because he's got a 6-inch disadvantage.
It's a good point. Especially Tony Ferguson, those long arms. That's why he's so good at the darts chokes. Are you a big darts choke fan, Brent?
No.
Yeah, I get it, man. It's kind of a hard maneuver to pull off. You have to have those long arms. So I get it. From your standpoint, you're probably
How
more
do
of
you
like a rear
spell
naked
that? Darce? D-A-R-C-E?
D''A''R''C''E.
Is that like the guy who invented it?
Tony Ferguson?
No.
Oh.
Darce.
That's a good question. Probably.
I've already told you, I've been in a rear naked chokehold before and almost put to sleep.
That's a fantastic story. Matt Hughes, right?
Matt Hughes.
Yeah, which is like, dude, one of the pioneers of MMA. Guy's a bad dude.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about that. The headliner, by the way, is Gaethje and Ferguson coming up Saturday. Action Sports Shacks will be there. And it's going to be a wild process, the whole thing. We'll be able to tell you more about it coming up on Monday and how it went. You can see it on ESPN+. Obviously, there's a pay-per-view element to it as well in terms of the Gaethje-Ferguson fight. And we'll have an interview today coming up at 3:30 with Justin Gaethje. We'll also, on tomorrow, I'm going to give you a chance to kind of break down the matches.
Yeah.
Because, hey, listen, first of all, nobody talks MMA like we do.
You better believe it.
Like you do.
No, man, hey, you're bringing content to the table. We're talking about reach. We're talking about dart strokes. Brent, you're on it, man. You're good.
And so we'll talk about it a little bit. I know it's not for everybody, but that's okay. We've got an expert in the room. It's the first live sporting event in the United States. We had a fantastic interview with Dana White the other day. That gained some traction in some of the MMA circles. Yeah. And we'll talk about it tomorrow as well from a bout-to-bout standpoint. Just spend a segment or so on it. But today is a little bit about the schedule. Today also we ask a couple of questions. And to me it has to do with mental toughness and physical toughness. Do the Jags
talk about the
have
commercials
it?
again? Okay. I thought we were going back to the commercials
Nah,
during the
I'm not done
NFL
with
draft.
that.
Okay, good.
Do the Jags have it?
I like it.
And what I mean by that is I'm going to give the mental toughness side. You better have that to wear a C on your jersey. And you brought up an interesting thing this week that, from a topic standpoint, who will be the captains of this Jaguars team? A team that has 30 rookies on its 90-man roster right now. I can name off and rattle off second-year players and third-year players. It has very few veterans. Avery Jones, veteran guy. Chris Conley, veteran guy. Heck, I would put Josh Lambo in that category. Lorente McRae in that category.
Linder.
You got Linder and Norwell. I mean, you have some. But you don't have a lot. And who do you lean on? Offense, defense. How many captains do you need on a team? In the past, this team has had 5 or 6 of them. And by the way, I will get Doug Marrone, who had an awful run with captains in 2018, allowed the team. Now, I don't know if he had a little more influence, but he allowed the team to pick him again in 2019, and that wasn't as glaring of an issue as it seemed to be in 2018 with who they chose as captains. But who would you identify, and could you give a guy like Minshew the captaincy in year number 2? He's your alpha dog guy. He's your guy. He is the guy. We know that. I think they know that. I think everybody knows that here in 2020. Could you give him a captain's role? So we'll talk about that and love to get people's thoughts on that. And listen, to a degree, is the captain stuff a little overrated? Yeah, probably, but I do think it signifies something in a locker room, and you can speak to that.
Of course.
And I also think on this team, because there's so much youth, it may carry a little weight.
But there's also a lot of storylines, Brent, right? Like Leonard Fournette, this is his last year in Jacksonville. We're almost 100% sure of that, okay? Do you give him a captaincy, okay? Joe Schobert, obviously is going to be a leader on that defense. Do you give him a seat, even though it's going to be his first year in Jacksonville? Let's be honest. We don't know when they're actually going to be on the field together, meeting together and everything. Does he earn a seat?
Many people haven't even met him yet.
Exactly. So there's a lot of questions to watch regarding who's going to be a captain this year.
So I'm going to chalk that up to the mental toughness side. The physical toughness side, and again, I always try to be very careful with this element. I'm not saying the Jags aren't physical and can be violent on defense, but there is no way that you would characterize the Jaguars' defense over the last 3 or 4 years, even when it was very good, as this physical, violent defense like you would maybe the Baltimore Ravens at times.
Correct.
Even past Jaguars teams that have shown that physical, violent nature. Maybe the Tennessee Titans, the Steelers. I would put maybe even the Buffalo Bills in this category. So the question is, does the 3-4 shift, because the teams I just mentioned, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, they've run that 3-4, right?
They have, but now the Bills run a 4-3 when Sean McDermott got there.
Okay, so they've switched it around.
Yeah.
Does that lend to being a more tough team, a more physical team? Or is it okay to just be flashy, athletic playmaking and not have that I am going to bruise the heck out of you today mentality in this current day and age in the NFL?
I'm looking forward to talking about this because obviously I did a little homework last night and I analyzed teams that have the 3-4 defense, teams that run a 4-3 defense, and kind of the more successful teams of the 3-4, what do they have in common? And I kind of made some interesting observations. So I'm not sure if you want to get into it right now, more later on in the show, whenever you're thinking. But.
Well, we're going to do it a little bit later because we're taking a break right now. And we will talk a little bit about the schedule before we have Gaethje on, and then we'll revisit the captains and the physical nature. So a little mental toughness, a little physical toughness. I'm going to need a little mental toughness to get through the show now that Dilla spoiled it up for all of us, all right? Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule and rumors and all that. Not in that sense. That's fine. It's out there. If you want to go find it, you can see the rumors and what people are saying. How important is a fast start for the Jaguars in 2020 in this particular makeup of a team? Every coach, we got to go to fast start. We got to go to fast. But they all break it up in quarters as well. I'm going to give you a little history lesson on how the Jaguars have been.
Cool.
Also, I was thinking about primetime games, and something we left off when we said that yesterday is, sure, the Jaguars aren't going to have a million of primetime games. Some people are like, oh, they won't even have a primetime game. It is out that they're not playing the Titans in primetime.
Yeah.
That's nice to know.
We think, Brent. Are we going to play Paul Kaharski now?
A little more reputable than some others. I think that is
that's
factual.
True. Paul Kaharski once said that was the best Twitter follow in the NFL.
Hey, there you go.
So he's right.
But does Minshew help you get in prime time?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the schedule before we have an interview with Justin Gaethje coming up, and then we hit some mental and physical toughness when it comes to the Jags and maybe us on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A breezy, mild day today with lots of sun and temperatures only topping out in the mid-70s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Weather is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Say thank you to your quarantine queen this Mother's Day with a one-of-a-kind piece of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds. If the COVID crisis postponed your proposal or spending too much time in quarantine put you in the doghouse, show her how much you love her with a beautiful piece of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds.
Right now, get 5-year zero-interest financing on anything and everything. All diamond engagement rings, from solitaires to halos, from 3-stone to side-stone.
Shop the largest showroom in North Florida with plenty of room to social distance and take advantage of the rock-bottom prices Beard's is known for. Locally owned at the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Where is this water coming from?
Who will deliver us lunch?
Why is the air conditioner blowing hot air?
Where can I get a tire fixed?
Do you know someone who can get marker stains out of the carpet?
What do we need to do to get the pool ready?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
As the virus creates more questions, you need a voice you can trust. At Action News Jax, we put truth over hype.
We want to try and put your mind at ease.
Our team of reporters, dedicated, researching, constantly pushing for answers, talking to doctors, scientists, and experts, so you're informed on the local impact. Because the more you know, the safer you'll be. Watch CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax. We are Jax in this together.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small. But businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you.
First Place Management Properties, Wise Pharmacy, Swan Home Team, Installed Building Products, Studio to Fit, Air Doctors.
If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
Hey, this is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and you're watching Action Sports Jax. Bomb Squad!
Not a few, but the process for me is really just weighing my options and taking my time. I ain't in no rush right now. I know with what's going on right now in the world with the coronavirus and everything, it's a slow process until the team really can see in me and seeing what I got and to give me physicals and everything. So I ain't in no rush. I just waiting on the right opportunity and the right timing for me. It's all about timing and opportunity. So just stay focused, stay locked in, stay working, and it's going to present itself when the time is right.
That is Jadeveon Clowney. It's interesting. I think it was Jeremy Fowler, and now you hear some of that conversation about Clowney. He really is waiting this thing out. Mm-hmm. And part of that is he's not getting what he wants. It's amazing. And when this story and situation is revisited, I'm a little surprised the national guys, because they talk to so many coaches and GMs around the league, not just kind of like us talking to the ones here. And it will be questions that I ask about what happened to the pass rusher market. Mm-hmm. I mean, you used to be able, if you had one career sack, that was like a pitcher back in the late 90s being able to throw a fastball over 90. You were guaranteed $10 million. Didn't matter if your ERA was 2.46 or 6.82. Yeah. I mean, there used to be a time where pitchers in the big leagues, their ERA was up around 5, and they were still getting deals for $10 million. Well, that's kind of like the pass rusher. Like, yeah, obviously your elite ones are getting crazy money, but 17, 18 million, that's like 2 years ago, you're run-of-the-mill. Your average pass rusher. Yeah. And Clowney obviously is coming off that bad year. Still no home for him. He's coming off, there's a lot of video and messaging going out now from his camp, of course, saying I'm healthy. And I guess this part makes sense on Clowney's front. He's going to wait to see if he can go visit people and show them that he's healthy. And therefore, maybe someone will invest more. Although it doesn't sound like Seattle is going to be one of the investors. Mm-hmm. I think Jeremy Fowler yesterday said that Cleveland had actually tried to do a deal in the last month. That would have been interesting, huh? Clowney and Myles Garrett. Yeah. And then Tennessee, it's been active. They've been vocal about that. So who knows? We'll see where that ends up. I think one thing is clear as day. You would wonder at one time if Yannick Ngakoue were traded or could be traded, or they don't think things are going to happen and finish in a nice way here in Jacksonville for him. Yeah. Could Clowney come in? Could the Jags make an investment? Well, that's off the table. Chaseon's now here. They went and got Aaron Lynch, a veteran guy. I mean, he's not Clowney, but at least he's a veteran body. I mean, they have bodies now.
You still have Cassius Marsh as well, who kind of goes under the radar a little bit. But
really, think about this is kind of a sidebar. We're not really a topic. But we're discussing this, I think, 2 days ago. We were doing the 3-4 stuff. Yeah. Think about the bodies they have on their outside guys, whether it's the big end spot or the edge spot. They have Jan, obviously on the roster, Josh Allen, Chaseon, Cassius Marsh. McCray can do it in a pinch if he needs to. I won't put him in the category. But so you go 4 deep right there.
But let's be honest. I mean, if you go, because he just can't play special teams. So he's going to have to be one of those spots.
Yeah. And then on the other side, because you think Lynch is going to play that bigger side, don't you?
Yeah, it all depends how much Lynch weighs right now. Yeah. I think in Chicago he was like 270, maybe even 280. Yeah. To me, depending once again, if it's going to be a 3-4 under, over, we'll see. But I think right now where his weight is, he's better suited as a 5 technique in that under front.
Okay, well, so just even add him on that side. It's wherever you want to put him, but I'm just naming bodies. I just named 4 on that side.
Yeah.
And now you have Gunter, Smoot, and Lynch. I mean, you have 7 guys on the edges.
Yeah.
That the Jaguars can have fun with there, whether it's 4-3, 3-4, and see. Hey, listen, there's a big drop-off between some. Josh Allen's a bona fide star. Jan has been a star. Chason, they hope, is a star. And those other guys are more middle of the road, but they've invested a bit in Gunter. They think he can be a little bit of something. Smoot coming off a 6-sack year. I'm not going to go crazy with that, but it's still a 6-sack year. You wonder where that leads him. And then I think Marsh and even Lynch to a degree are just kind of bodies.
But this is why I'm so prevalent on a 3-4 defense, right? Because you just talked about it, the edge, right? And then you keep using the term edge. Well, to me, if you run the 3-4, well, then Smoot probably doesn't play the edge. All right, Smoot plays a 5 technique. That's not really considered an edge because he's still, so then Gunter not really playing the edge. So that's why I feel like they're better suited right now with their personnel for an all-out legit 3-4 defense, because if they were to play a 4-3 defense, well, now you're justifying having a depth at defensive end of like 7-8 guys, which is just unheard of, obviously, even in training camp. So that's why I'm so prevalent on saying it's going to be a 3-4 defense, because now you can move Smoot down to that tackle position, not playing defensive end or the outside rusher. Now you can move Gunter and everything like that. So that's why I think it's going to be a 3-4.
All right. So quick thought on that. Here's a quick thought on the schedule, and we'll talk more about it as the show goes along. I was wondering this yesterday. We were asking primetime games, right? I bet. I mean, it looks like, if by the way, Dilla's right, but I think this was probably something you could assume. You actually did say it yesterday, right? Didn't you say Miami? So you were talking to Dilla earlier. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, pretty much, man. No, I said that I wanted Cleveland, but I think it would make sense to have Miami. But I thought it was going to be Miami more like later in the season.
Yeah,
but Tua, Gardner Minshew.
According to this report, it would be the 3rd week of the season.
So bitter though, so upset. All these flavors out here, and you choose to be salty.
Yeah, a little bit. But anyway, some people I said when the Titans and Jags report came out today that wasn't going to be the case. And I think that did come from Tennessee probably. I mean, Paul Kaharski covers the Titans, so I think that was like, hey, at least it's not that everybody's like, whew. Yes. Thank you. No Titans, Jags on Thursday Night Football. Thank you, NFL.
For
I don't
once
care
the NFL
what
looks
else
out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thank you. Yes.
But it's it begs the question, because some of them said, well, they might not have a primetime game. They might not have a primetime game. And I think they will have one primetime game even before this leak came out. But is that because of Minshew? Like, does Minshew make them kind of a primetime draw? We didn't really talk about that yesterday. They have very little star power. They have potential star power, but they have very little national appeal in Jacksonville. And that's not the small market. Listen, they had national appeal. Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell, even Nick Foles coming off the Super Bowl. I mean, there was some heck, you could argue when Bortles was around, it was national appeal because it was butt of jokes a lot of times, but he was a national name people knew. Fournette, I think, fits it. They really have close to no national appeal, if we're being honest. It's not a knock. There's no disrespect. They just don't have it yet. They're so young. Minshew is their only guy. Fournette carries a little bit of that. He does. I believe so. He's a guy that draws headlines. I mean, they'll lead with Fournette on SportsCenter during the last couple of months if he's making news. I think Fournette's a big name, and there is national appeal. But that's it. I mean, Josh Allen might be on his way, but he's not there yet.
Well,
Jan has never been there.
And Josh Allen shares the name of that quarterback in Buffalo.
True.
No, I'm not going to say which guy's the better player, Josh Allen, Jacksonville. But obviously, people recognize the quarterback a little more. So that hurts Josh Allen, like you said. Maybe 15% of the U.S. population can pronounce Yannick Ngakwe's name right. I'm not sure if I can even do it yet, but that's what it is right now.
So DJ Chark could evolve into that.
Yeah.
So it's Fournette, but it's Minshew. Minshew's the guy. He took the nation by storm. He took the city by storm. He took the league by storm for a few weeks, and even that died off. Again, his play wasn't great for a little stretch there in the second half of the year. Then Foles comes in. But does he give them that kind of national appeal that people in Tacoma, Washington would turn on TV and be like, well, that's not a good example. He played at Washington State. So people in Wisconsin would turn on TV and be like, hey, man, I want to watch Minshew play. What's this Minshew Mania thing? I want to watch the Jorts and the Aviators play today.
Listen, you have a guy who's obviously this folk hero. for what he does off the field. You have a guy who is a la Brett Favre-esque on the field. And guess what? He plays the most important position of quarterback, okay? After the 2017 season, Jaguars go to the AFC Championship game. What happens after that for primetime games? Nah. And guess what? You had guys like Calais Campbell, okay? You had names. You had the mayor of Saxonville, but guess what, man? It's a defensive tackle.
Again, you had Ramsey.
And it really doesn't matter unless your name's J.J. Watt or maybe even Aaron Donald, but even Aaron Donald doesn't really get the love that he deserves. So it's the quarterback position. Remember when Johnny Manziel got drafted by the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, they were on 5 times.
They were horrible. Remember, like they come off a horrible year. The Cleveland Browns, the factory of sadness.
I think last year they had like 5 or 6.
How many primetime games did Baker Mayfield get, and how many primetime games did Johnny Manziel get? It's all about the quarterback position, and guess what? Gardner Minshew gives you that.
Yeah. Again, I think they're only going to have the one, and it's that leak is right, then they will only have one.
Yeah.
But I thought that anyway. You know, I think they're going to have a one game. But I'm just saying, Minshew offers that up a little bit. Yeah. Maybe if they surprise some people, they can flex into a primetime game later in the year. Hey, when we come back, we will get back to more football. But Justin Gaethje, he headlines the big event coming up Saturday. First live sporting event in Jacksonville is the UFC. We've talked about it a little bit this week. He joins us next on ESPN 690.
Hey, Jacksonville, are you ready for some good news? Right now, you can score tremendous savings during the construction sale at Arlington Toyota. You choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Now that's huge. Get to Arlington today, where you can drive away in a Toyota Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. How about a Toyota Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. So go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. May offers for full details.
J. David Tax Law wants you to know that they are here to help individuals and businesses with tax debt issues during the coronavirus pandemic. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Tax problems can be extremely stressful, especially now. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. These programs expire on July 15th, so don't wait. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. With a $1 trillion economic stimulus package on the way, the IRS will be collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777 or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Tire Outlet, the local name in tires that you know and trust, is now offering mobile installation. Tire Outlet mobile installation is safe, no hassle, quick, and same day at your home or office. A Tire Outlet professional will bring and install your tires right on site while staying safely distanced. The only thing easier than getting new tires with mobile installation is making the appointment. Call 904-600-0089 to reserve an appointment. Tire Outlet is part of the First Coast community and is in this with you.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Light Bulb Depot, Johnson's Crane Service, Wireworks Electrical, Orenders Heating and Air, the Hall Closet Consignment. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats.
Judge Judy is set to end after the show's 25th season, but that doesn't mean Judge Judy is going away. The Mega Millionaire syndication queen will begin production on a new show called Judy Justice.
Oh, you know who made the decision? Viacom. They're clearing her off the books to make room for Romo.
It's a good guess.
Tap space.
You want more from the Dan Le Batard Show? Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast.
Our normal way of life has been changing quickly due to coronavirus. New rules to follow, and basically all sports have been put on hold. Heck, you might even be working from home. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you're not in the car from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m., check in on Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
We're getting back to live sports on Saturday night here in the United States, and the first event will be UFC 249. It's a big one right here in the River City in Jacksonville. Of course, no fans at the arena, ton of precautions taking place. UFC will be here 3 consecutive dates over the next really 10 days, Saturday, then Wednesday, then Saturday. But this one's the big one, UFC 249 on ESPN Plus, and then pay-per-view as well. And the big matchup, the headline fight, is Ferguson against Gaethje. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Austin Lane, former Jags player, current MMA fighter. We welcome in to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, one of the headliners of Saturday night, Justin Gaethje right now. Justin, hope your family's doing well and you're doing well during these times. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm lovely. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, what do you think about Saturday night, man? Finally back to some action, and how strange will it be in front of an empty arena?
Oh, it'll be perfect. I'll be in my safe space, man. It's gonna be legendary.
Why so? Will you have to get yourself pumped up? Well, why will you do well in that space without fans? What's that part of it going to be like? I guess the pre-fight stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a life or death situation for me. I don't need anybody there. All I need is the adrenaline coursing through my veins, and that's what I'm going to, experience. That's all the hype I need. He's trying to take everything I've worked for, and this is the biggest opportunity of my life. So nothing matters other than being in the fight. I'm a performer. When the door shuts, bell rings, I perform, and that's what's going to happen Saturday.
Justin, can you take us through your mindset a little bit, man? Like, obviously you're supposed to fight Tony Ferguson April 18th, and you got that call on short notice, right? I think you're actually a short notice fighter, so that doesn't make a big deal at all. But then that fight gets canceled. That fight gets moved to Jacksonville May 9th now. What is it like to kind of prepare for a fight short notice, have that fight fall out, and now the fight's back on again?
Yeah, this is I'm the opposite of a short notice fighter. This is the first and only fight I've ever taken on short notice. And, it was the situation had a lot to do with my decision. And then, I've never been offered any fight with the world title implications. And so that's all I'm here for. That's all we fight for as athletes, as performers. We want to be the best in the world. We want to be recognized as the best in the world or one of the best in the world. So it's been incredibly easy to get ready.
But, Justin, when you talk about being, this is your first time taking a short notice fight, but do you almost feel like, this is ingrained in you? It's almost like what you're all about? Because let's be honest, I mean, your style of fighting, Tony Ferguson does a lot of crazy things, right? He's unorthodox. He has the elbows. He can throw the darts from anywhere. He's very versed in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. But at the end of the day, you understand Tony Ferguson's going to come and try to knock you out, okay? He's going to come try to, use his gas tank and wear you down. So with that being said, I mean, is it almost an advantage to have a short notice fight from the standpoint of what he's going to do, number one, and number two, what you do as well?
Yeah, I mean, the one and only thing that matters is he's human. He has a brain, and when it shakes, you go to sleep. That's the natural process of getting hit. So that's all that matters.
Justin Gaethje,
he's human, I'm human, and whoever takes a shot at the wrong time, in the wrong space, on the wrong spot is going to go to sleep. He does have jiu-jitsu. He does have wrestling. I wrestled my whole life, and I'm not going to play jiu-jitsu with him. I'm going to stop it and make sure he stands up. I believe he wants to, he's got a little bit of macho in him. I got a little bit of macho in me, so I have no doubt that we're going to go out there and figure out who's best on the feet and and then make adjustments from there.
This is going to be one heck of a fight Saturday night here in Jacksonville, UFC 249. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, happy to be joined by one of the headliners, Ferguson against Gaethje, Justin Gaethje with us. Hey, Justin, we had Dana White on a couple of days ago, and Austin asked him if there are any fighters like you that have performed in the UFC. You are that unique in terms of your mentality. Here's what Dana White had to say.
He's an incredible fighter. He hits so hard, and you're absolutely right. He loves to knock people out. Move forward, take shots, trade, punch for punch until he hits you with the one that knocks you out.
Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean, I've had 6 fights, 7 bonuses, 5 headliners. No one in the history of the sport has done that.
Justin, I've been breaking you up all week because the MMA audience knows who you are, right? And I'm trying to get the casual fans on board. And all I got to say is go watch Justin Gaethje's last 5 fights, okay? Whether they're wins or losses, just go watch them and see what happens. That's all you need to know about a main event for the UFC.
Even your grandma will love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Humans recognize effort. I give max effort. That's all that we all expect from each other, is to be your best and give max effort, and that's what I do.
And Justin, here's my question, man, because you're always praised for coming forward. You're always praised for, you're willing to take a little damage to give a lot of damage, and that's kind of your MO and everything. But I think after that Dustin Poirier fight, we kind of saw you evolve a little bit. And from the standpoint of now, yeah, you still dish out the damage, you still take the shots, but you're almost a little more calm, a little more calculated with how you approach things. Did that Dustin Poirier fight kind of change your mindset a little bit of how to approach a fight?
It was both the Eddie Alvarez and the Dustin Poirier. Those were back-to-back, and deep down, I know I lost both of those fights for the same exact reason. I became too comfortable, complacent, and it's easy when you're the hammer. It's easy to forget that it just takes one time to miss that nail, and you're no longer the hammer. I know that when I became complacent and relaxed, I threw too much caution out the window, and they landed those big shots. These guys are the best in the world. Tony's one of the best in the world. I possess a very particular set of skills, and so it's at this level, it's who makes the mistake first. I cannot make mistakes.
Justin, you may be the only fighter in MMA history, actually combat sports history, for leading up to a fight, you said, and I quote, "I hope I get my nose broken." All right, so number one, what's up with that? And number two, have you had a coronavirus test yet where they stick that Q-tip up to basically your brain?
I have had that, and it was not comfortable. But it was quick. It was only like 4 or 5 seconds. I saw Tony said that I'm trying to throw him off and make him attack my body. Every sparring session, I offer $500 to $1,000 on a holiday if they can drop me with a body shot. So that's not the case. My nose is truly broken. It got broken 12 years ago, along with my lip got split. And, I want to smell my food before I taste it. I got to taste it to smell it. So, I'm trying to fix that.
And you get the UFC to pay for it, I guess, right?
If I want the UFC to pay for it. And, it's not like I can just take a break and take some time off. The best time to do it is after a fight, especially after a fight where I win a UFC championship and I get to go home and have my, sulk in my belt.
Hey, I got to be on TV tonight. I don't want my nose broken, but I'll leave that up to you. Justin Gaethje with us. Headlines, UFC 249 right here in Jacksonville. Can I ask you a little bit more about the whole process? You said you took the COVID-19 test. How much more do you have to go through from what you understand for the precautions the UFC will take during this event that will make it a little bit different? And can you be annoyed by any of that? Are you concerned about that, throwing off your pre-match routine, anything like that?
My number one goal in life is to never let somebody control my thoughts or emotions. That's under my control, and it absolutely does not faze me one bit. I always try to take the positives from any situation. The UFC is doing everything they can. Every time we leave this hotel, we come back, we check our temperature. They gave us 3 tests. They tested every single person that stepped in this place. The only thing that's going to be really different is no fans in the arena. But for me, again, life or death situation, adrenaline's coursing through your veins. That's not a factor.
Given the situation in this global pandemic, were you at all concerned about getting in the cage this weekend? Did you have any hesitation?
No, I had zero hesitation. Fighting is dangerous. My job is extremely dangerous, and I chose this life. And I will never be scared to live.
Justin, like Brent said, I'm an MMA fighter myself, man. I'm trying to come up and everything, but I've interviewed a few MMA fighters, and I've listened to interviews from hundreds. Okay, and one thing I can't stand is the generic questions that UFC fighters usually get. But you're the only fighter I'm going to ask this question to, because you're the only fighter where I actually value what you have to say for the answer. And to set this up real quick, when fighters get asked, why do they fight? Guys are going to say they want to win a championship, they want to get money and all that stuff, right? Well, I don't know you personally, but I feel like when it comes to money, you obviously value money, but you don't live a lifestyle. Essentially, you don't fall in love with a lifestyle that you can't afford, right? So you're not worried about that. And in terms of the belt, one could say if you truly wanted the belt, well, then you could come out and wrestle for 3 rounds against all your opponents, and you could win and climb up. But you don't do that. You try to put on a show for the fans. So I'm going to ask you this question. You're the only fighter I'm ever asked this question to. But Justin Gaethje, why do you fight?
I fight for glory, man. That's it. Back in the gladiator, I was born in the wrong century. I'll tell you that. This is there's only you only live once, and you will have regrets. And one thing I will not regret is putting it on the line to prove I'm the best. Not very often does a person get a chance to prove something, to prove that they're the best at something in the entire world. I thank God got that opportunity right now, and glory is all I fight for.
Justin Gaethje here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We appreciate the time, man. Good luck Saturday night. Hope it goes well in the headliner, UFC 249. Best of luck.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Justin Gaethje against Ferguson on Saturday night, the headliner, and it's a great card.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about the card and break down some of those matches. I want to get your thoughts on that. But this guy's a different cat, isn't he?
He's a different cat.
First of all, let me say this. Y'all are different cats to get in the cage and do that.
No, listen,
but he's really a different cat.
He's a different cat, and listen, we appreciate him coming on the show, because let's be honest, it's Thursday right now, okay? And the fight is Saturday. So he's probably trying to cut weight right now. He's probably trying to focus on the fight, and here he comes on ESPN 690 Jackson. We'll talk a little bit, so we appreciate that. But he said it himself, Brent, right? Money's not the motive for Justin Gaethje, okay? And, obviously the championship means something. It means something to anybody. But like he said, the guy fights because he wants to be known as just the baddest dude of all time, And I think that's admirable. I think it's rare. I think a lot of guys can talk a big game, but then when they get in a UFC cage or, if they get in a boxing ring, it's like, well, yeah, I want to be the baddest guy, but I'm going to wrestle, or I'm going to be a little more defensive and take my time, because let's be honest, I don't want to take damage and I don't want to get hurt, and I want to fight for my future. Gaethje doesn't do that, man. Gaethje comes out ready to go every single time and come downhill and get ready to take damage. And that's why I'm so excited for this main event fight.
A guy like Gaethje is just a great example of, man, we are all different.
Right?
Because no thanks.
Yeah.
I don't have that in me.
Yeah.
Not a chance. And maybe I've got something that Gaethje doesn't have in him.
Yeah.
But we ain't alike in that sense.
For sure.
Don't come break my nose.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to hit me on the chin 15 times before I come at you and try to knock you out. So it's really hard for me to. That's why I like listening to these guys talk and kind of get their mentality and the psychology behind it. And that's a big part of MMA, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the psychology of it. Once you get in there, first of all, there's no fear factor for these guys, for any of you that get in there. Mm-hmm. Then it's the science of the sport. And then it's just like he said. I mean, I think he blatantly said it. It's like, who's going to make that mistake? Who's going to make the mistake, or who's going to get hit in the spot that you really shouldn't get hit in?
Yeah.
And that sometimes you can't control.
Yeah, and that's listen, I love the sport for so many reasons, and I do it for so many reasons. First of all, let me say, I can't wait till I'm retired and I can go to the NFL PA and say, hey, go ahead and pay for my nose real quick because I can't breathe out my left nostril. And they're going to oblige. I'm be super excited about that. I'm be excited to breathe 100% through my nose again, but that's a ways down the line. But one of the reasons why I love the sport of MMA so much, and Gaethje kind of set it up perfectly. Essentially, Brent, there's how many styles of fighting? I mean, you got jiu-jitsu, you got grappling, you got the smash and pound, you got boxing, you got kickboxing, you got Muay Thai. You got all these different outlets that you can use in a cage that you can enforce on your opponent. But at the end of the day, you're trying to do really one of three things. You're trying to hit somebody's button, whether it's on the chin or the temple. You're trying to choke somebody out, or you're trying to, get an arm or a leg and squeeze until they tap out. And that's it. Like, it's so complicated, but at the end of the day, it's so simple, because there's one or three things you can really do in a cage, but there's a million ways to go about that. And I think Justin Gaethje kind of said that in various ways where it's like, I'm going to come down forward. I'm going to try to knock him out, but it's as simple as that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let's pivot here because we'll talk a little bit more UFC tomorrow. We take it to the top, right, Kuz? And coming up, by the way, we'll have a senior shout-out. We'll also give away a $50 gift card to Metro Diner in the next hour. And we'll get to a lot of football talk, a lot of Jags talk, a little bit about the schedule as well. And also later on, is Major League Baseball kind of eyeing a return? I mean, is there enough kind of smoke there that there'll be some fire? But we go from a physical sport to UFC, and we'll get into this topic that might carry over for a little bit.
Golf.
No.
Oh, okay.
Can the Jags be physical enough on defense to satisfy you, them, whatever? And here's what I mean by it. If you missed it earlier, I think the Jags have been a little bit more flash, athleticism playmakers the last few years. I don't look at the Jaguars and say, man, that is a physical football team. No. On occasion, I'll say Marcel Darius, physical guy, right? He's in the middle. He's a big dude. I think they can play physical at times. They had some big hits, but not enough of them. I think Miles Jack has a violent nature to him that is underrated because of his athleticism. So I think Miles is a great example of this. I think sometimes you're so athletic and you're fast and you make plays that people don't talk about your physical nature. And he's a great example of that. If you go back to 17 especially, Miles Jack, when he was playing fast and kind of letting it all go, especially in the postseason, he was whacking people, man. I mean, it was knocking them into the next week. And so I just don't know if I've seen enough of that the last couple of years out of the Jags. Nobody looks on their tape and says, man, I'm going to be so sore the next day. I don't think people look at Jacksonville like that and have.
So what you're saying essentially, even from Miles Jack, is like you want that Patrick Willis type, right? Like Patrick Willis was a freak in nature, right? But he also hit you. And he also played with this mentality, this grit and everything. And that's what you want at linebacker.
Not just Miles Jack, though. I want that a little bit more in their entire defense, I feel like. Or do I need it? Do I need it is the question.
You absolutely need it. You know, whether it's a 4-3 defense or a 3-4. But it's funny that you brought up Miles Jack. And I love that you did that because you're actually going to prove my point. Are we getting into it right now? Or are we going to?
No, we're going.
Okay.
We'll go just for a little bit. We'll carry it over. But I just thought it was go from physical sport to physical sport. Let's do it.
So 3-4 defense, right, Brent? You think of 3-4 defenses. What do you think of? You think of the Ravens. You think of the Steelers, obviously. Even the Patriots have a brand of 3-4 defense. But, they're all over the place. But, like, what do all those have in common? They're physical, right? And truth be told, even the Bears defense last year in team defense, 4th overall in team defense, which is shocking to me because they didn't really have that great of a season.
Didn't feel like it, yeah.
So check this out. The top defenses last year in team defense, top defense, Patriots. Ran primarily a 3-4. Second place, Ravens, 3-4. Fourth place, Bears, 3-4. And then 9th place, Green Bay Packers, 3-4 defense. What do all those defenses have in common is the question, right? How can they have so much success in a 3-4? And why, can the Jaguars just plow out a 3-4 defense and expect to have the same kind of success? And something that they all have in common. Like, and listen, you're going to tell me, Green Bay, that they had Smith and Smith, right? Like, Preston Smith was an animal. Great free agent signing. You're going to tell me the Chicago Bears have Khalil Mack. That guy's a beast. I'm going to say yes, he is, obviously. And you're telling me the Ravens defensive line, one of the, very, really solid. They just add another piece in Calais Campbell. And you're going to tell me the Patriots, one of the best head coaches, if not the best head coach ever in football, who's a defensive-minded guy. You're going to tell me that. But what I'm going to tell you what they all have in common, it's the linebacking core, okay? And this involves the Steelers as well. It's the linebacking core in that, number one, they have an attitude, okay? The whole reason why the 3-4 defense was implemented back in, I think, the early 2000s, I think it's 2003, by the Pittsburgh Steelers, first team to do it. Do you know why? Because when they went to the draft, they got a couple linebackers, and they all had something in common. They were nasty dudes, and they had to be showcased, okay? So I forgot who the defensive coordinator was at the time. Forgive me for that. But basically he said, you know what? We have these nasty guys. We have to get them all on the field at the same time. We have to showcase their skills, their talents. Let's go ahead and get 3-4 defense. And that's how it was born. The 3-4 defense wasn't born out of necessity. The 3-4 defense was born out of trying to mold your players to the best possible scheme. Okay? That's where it came up from Pittsburgh in the early 2000s. Now, yes, if you go back in time, there's been other 3-4 defenses, but I'm talking about the resurgence of the 3-4 defense stemmed from there. Okay? So when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, you bring in a guy in Joe Schobert, okay? all things considered, we call him like a diet puzz right now. Maybe even be an upgrade from a puzz from the standpoint of the guy can drop back into coverage. He's comfortable in all phases of the game. So one could say maybe he's an upgrade from puzz right now. You have a guy named Myles Jack who you just said yourself. You said he does have a little bit of that mean streak, right? He has to play within himself still, but that mean streak is there. So if you have those two guys in the middle of your field, you have one guy in Joe Schobert who I think is more of like the calm, cool, collected type, the guy who's going to get everybody lined up, the field general, if you will. And I play with a lot of great field generals, Puz to name one, Darryl Smith to name another, Lance Briggs to name another. So if you have those type of guys leading your defense, and then you have kind of, let's call him the wild card in Myles Jack, well, then you have something right there, okay? And then you sprinkle on the outside linebackers, which you have, and now you got something really special. But it's not just that, Brent, right? It starts with the linebacking core, and it starts with the attitude there. That I always say the outside linebacker is the most important thing of a 3-4 defense. 1B would be the inside linebackers. And 1C, I guess you would say, because it's also important, would be like a 3 technique or a nose technique as well.
All right, good stuff. I love the background and everything. What gives you out of those positions, though, who made the Steelers physical? The linebackers?
Oh,
those guys?
Guys like James Harrison comes to mind.
Yeah.
And granted, like James Harrison played more outside, but yeah, those guys, that linebacking core made those guys
Or
work.
were they physical on all 3 levels? Like Baltimore, you can think of a bunch of different players over the years for Baltimore.
Of course.
But you think of Baltimore as being this team when you wake up on Monday morning, you hurt more than when you played the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, but let's be honest, though. Baltimore had C.J. Mosley last year, or 2 years ago,
2 years ago.
Right? Best middle linebacker probably in the game. Maybe Luke Kuechly, but he's top 3 regardless. Goes to New York. They put a new cat in there, didn't skip a beat. When I say that the middle linebackers got to be physical and relentless, yeah, that's important. But once again, the biggest thing and what C.J. Mosley doesn't really get a lot of credit for is the mind. It's being in the right spot at the right time, number 1, being a great leader, number 2, and getting guys lined up, number 3. So that's why, to answer your question, do I think that Jaguars can be more physical? Do I think that Jaguars could kind of bring a new intensity in this 3-4 defense if they do implement it, to be fair? Absolutely, because it starts with the linebackers. Josh Allen, we'll see Yannick Ngakoue, Chase on, and then in the middle, Myles Jack and Joe Schobert. Absolutely, because what I talked about yesterday, Brent, with Myles Jack, it's all about what you said. It's all about the speed. It's all about coming downhill, not thinking, just go hit somebody. That's what Myles Jack's going to do now if he's playing a 3-4 defense. So I am intrigued. When you add pieces like Al Woods and Gunter, who have been in 3-4 defenses before, who have had some success, who know about attitude. Al Woods coming from Seattle. They're all about attitude over there, all right? Don't get it twisted. I like the pieces that they have in place to kind of have a little paradigm shift of intensity and physicality.
When we come back, I'm going to ask you this. If you were the defensive coordinator, what would you want your identity to be? And can you be both? Can you be physical and knock heads into next week and be the lunch pail guys? And can you be playmakers? Do they go hand in hand? I don't think it always does. Like Tennessee, they don't strike me as a playmaking team. They strike me as a lunch pail team. But can you have both? Which would you rather be on the defensive side? And this is all about how can the Jags get a little bit of an identity. They went a year without an identity last year. Didn't have one. We'll see what it will be in 2020. Next on ESPN 690.
Celebrate Mother's Day with your neighborhood Metro Diner. Listen to Action Sports Jacks all week for your chance to win a $50 Metro Diner gift card so you can celebrate mom with deliciously good ready-to-heat brunch, lunch, and dinner meals like a meat lover's casserole, roasted turkey, or pot roast. All week at 4:30 p.m. on ESPN 690.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. License number CQ 1057788. Minimum fee may apply. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Hey, Jacksonville, are you ready for some good news? Right now, you can score tremendous savings during the construction sale at Arlington Toyota. You choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Now that's huge. Get to Arlington today, where you can drive away in a Toyota RAV4 XLE for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. That's a pre-owned RAV4 for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. How about a Toyota Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021? That's a pre-owned Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. So go see him today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. May offers for full details.
Let's continue to celebrate the seniors. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno, and this is your Swoop Minute on the campus of the University of North Florida. Let's highlight a couple of baseball players. Brandon Wrights, senior pitcher out of Ocala. He split time as UNF's Saturday and Sunday starter, seeing 19 starts out of 21 outings on the mound. In 2019, he tied the UNF D1 single-season record for games started and picked up a couple of W's. Tanner Clark lettered for 2 seasons at UNF after coming to North Florida after 2 years at Lake Sumter College. Clark hit .306 as a junior, and in the final game of 2020, he drove in 4 runs and clubbed a 3-run home run in a win over Ohio State. Some Ospreys news. Men's basketball coach Matthew Driscoll and his staff announced the addition of junior transfer Alonde Legrand to the Ospreys incoming class for 2020, and the A-Sun Conference announced men's golf all-conference accolades. Michael Matisse and Davis Lee earned recognition by the coaches. On the women's side, Ospreys honorees included Sydney Schrader, Teresa Conroy, Sarah McKevitt, and Mindy Herrick. For all things Ospreys, go to unfospreys.com. That's your Swoop Minute.
Out of sight, out of mind still holds true. When things disappear from your day-to-day life, you think about them less and less. This includes your business. Yes, things are difficult, but if your customers aren't thinking about you now, how can you be sure they will be when this is past? At Cox Media Group Jacksonville, we make sure they will. We'll help you stay on the mind of your customers and even get into the mind of some new customers. Contact CMG Jacksonville at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Hello? Hey, boss. Why are you calling me? Well, I was gonna come over, but I thought I should be practicing social distancing. Oh, that's responsible of you. Thanks. So I'm calling because I want to read you this new article in the Crooks of Us newsletter. If it's about Safe Touch security, I don't want to hear it. Boss, you want to hear this. The headline reads, Safer at Home with Safe Touch Security. Safer at home with Safe Touch? Yeah. It says, with people staying home more than ever these days, Safe Touch Security is the answer for peace of mind at home. Yeah, the guaranteed response time, the two-way communicator, the video monitoring. Yeah, and more. Great. So what you're telling me is, whether they're home or not, the Crooks of Us motto is stronger than ever. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. It's written in stone, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Biscotti's Avondale, BB San Marco, Beaches Concrete, Ag Pro Pest Control, A&G Outdoors, Units of Jacksonville. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Do you hear something in the attic?
Where do you want to eat tonight?
Why won't the lights work? Where should I take my car for engine work? Do you think I need to get this spot checked out?
Where did these bugs come from?
When are we going to paint the house?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
At AutoZone, we've always been here to help you get what you need to go where you need. That hasn't changed. In need of an oil change? Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX high-mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $27.99. And if you need something fast, you can get it fast, your way. Whether it's next-day delivery or free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside, the choice is yours. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions and details on AutoZone.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
But you got a guy like Josh Allen, rookie, playing extremely well last year. And obviously you don't know what's going on with the other defensive end, but the defensive end play at Jacksonville has always been pretty good the last 5-6 years. New rookie Kayvon Chason steps right in, providing pass rush, which he certainly seems capable of. But just from whatever I've seen of the Jacksonville Jaguars when I've watched the last couple of years, is they always seem to be very aggressive, get good penetration, cause havoc in the backfield, get after the quarterback. It's always nice to play behind that kind of a defensive line.
Dude, shout out to Joe Schobert for pronouncing Kayvon Chason's name right.
Impressive.
The very first time. He hasn't even met the guy yet.
Impressive.
I played football with Puz for 3 years. I can't even pronounce his last name still. I see you, Schobert.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, it's funny you said that. I thought the same thing when he said it. I was like, wow, he nailed that.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even hesitate.
That's a captain right there, man. Any guy that can do that, that's a captain that I want.
We just named Joe Schobert captain because he pronounced Kayvon Chason's name right. There you go.
There you go, man.
Doesn't take much around here. But we will talk about the captain part of this in just a little bit. I want to stay on the defense, and I'm naming you the defensive coordinator, which people around here might like because anything but Todd Wash, a lot of people would say.
Stop the run.
So I want an identity on defense. What's your identity going to be? And you can't have it all. You just can't. I mean, all is too – very few defenses have all. Again, I would say the Jaguars in 17, they were very good. Unbelievable defense, really. They were measured against some of the great defenses in history for a little bit that season. But I would not characterize that defense as a violent, physical, punch you in the mouth. You don't want to get it's going to be a cold tub for Monday and Tuesday kind of defense. Yeah. I just wouldn't. And by the way, that's not a knock. I just wouldn't. I think they were fast. I would think they were opportunistic. I would think they were athletic. I think they were playmakers. I think that's what their defense was. They sacked the quarterback a bunch. Mm-hmm. They had a myriad of turnovers. Mm-hmm. They had defensive touchdowns. I did not say, wow, that was a bruising defense. Just didn't do it. So what would the identity of your defense be for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the way they're built? What would you rather have then? Do you want a more physical defense because people have to know coming in here you got to pack that lunch pail? Or do you want a defense that can make plays for you so much so that they might score for you? You know, I'm going to get to that in just a moment. Coming up here on Action Sports Jackson, you're welcome to jump in on that conversation. As always, 904-362-9901. Right now, we want to give a senior shout-out once again, and we're inviting those entries and submissions to ESPN690.com. Go to ESPN690.com. We'll give a shout-out to a local student and a local student athlete here in the area. And today, it's Emily Ramsden from Fleming Island High School. Mary Beth is a teammate of Emily's says, hey, Emily, you have done so much in high school over these past 4 years. I'm so blessed to know you from swim practice to working at Maple Street. You've been there for me through it all. Good biscuits at Maple Street.
Yeah, I guess she's also been there for me. I've been there a couple times.
There you go. I don't know what I'm going to do without you next year, and I wish you could have all the senior festivities, but I'm so proud of how you're handling everything. You are such a hard worker and a great friend to everyone you meet. I'm really going to miss you next year.
Dang.
And go Knowles. Very nicely said.
That's a good friend right there.
That's a very good friend. Mary
That's
Beth
awesome.
To Emily Ramsden, Fleming Island High School. So congratulations on this senior year,
Man.
even though it's been a little bit different.
Everybody get you a Mary Beth. Everyone needs a Mary Beth in their life, man, to have your back like that. That was
I agree.
awesome.
That is very nice.
Cool.
I have nothing nice to say like that to you.
It's all good,
but,
man.
To everybody listening, ESPN690.com is the place to submit for your senior and give them a shout out right here on the show from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. And we're going to do that for a little bit. So send them in. All right, back to the Jaguars defense.
This is like my interview process. I'm coming in.
This really is. It's like, I've got something in mind. I'm Shad Khan.
Sure.
Dave Caldwell, Doug Marrone.
Where
And
are we at right now?
Maple Street.
Okay, let's do it. Awesome. So,
No, we can't. So, where are we doing the job interview? Well, right now we're on Zoom these days.
Okay, that's fine. It's kind of a bummer, but it's fine.
I mean, I would imagine most of the interviews for the Jags are done probably like Ruth's Chris.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Lobster biscuits go. Okay.
Maybe Calford Chop House.
Okay. Just name
Kind
dropping
of
them.
overlooking the
just free
city.
advertisement. It's all
Yeah,
good,
I mean,
man.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Where else? Maybe, what is it? What's One Ocean?
Yeah.
Right there at the beach?
Yep. There you got Three Forks.
Three Forks, possibility.
Yeah. Capitol Grill.
River and Post?
Let's just get River and Post. Let's just give every business a little free shout out today on the
let me
show.
pull up Yelp. We'll just start.
Boom.
Where do you want to take a potential Jags candidate, though? Out by the beach? Because, man, I want to be here. So you go in that Neptune Beach area?
I think you got to do a little bit of research on the person.
Wackos?
Hence why you need to do the research on the person.
One of the best burgers
Some
in
might
town,
wanna go
so
to
I've heard.
Wackos.
I don't
Some
know.
might wanna go
That's
to
what I
Neptune
heard.
Beach.
I've never been there. I don't know, but I heard they got a pretty decent burger.
All right. Well, we're at one of all those places.
Okay. So distracted right now. Let's go.
Just moving on.
And by the way, we might have been there after dinner.
Do you go down to St. Augustine?
I think it's too far.
Yeah, you don't want to make us sit through that.
Well, because you got stadium stuff you got to do. You know, I'm talking in normal times, not right about now. But
okay.
The beach is relevant, or if you want to just go right after, go to Ruth's Chris across the St. Johns River or Calford Chop House, one of those places right near the stadium. You got plenty of options. But
cut the check, guys.
I would actually be hesitant to go to the beach side because you'll run into a lot of former Jags coaches that might not say anything nice about it.
It's a good point.
Malarkey will be out there. Coughlin's out there.
It's a good point. Let's stick to downtown.
You might want to stay downtown.
To the Riverside area, possibly. Yeah.
So, I mean, quite simply, I'm interviewing for the DC job, and what, based off the personnel we have, do you want your identity to be on defense?
Well, there, Mr. Khan. I think I can sum up your request in 3 words. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Controlled, chaotic violence. That will be the identity of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Controlled. We'll be in the right position. We'll call the right plays, and we'll make sure guys are lined up properly. The mental game, don't worry about that. I'll make sure I have my guys ready to go. Chaotic. We'll be causing confusion. We're on a 3-4 defense where we'll be given various looks depending on who we're playing, and they won't know where the pressure is coming from. They won't be able to identify what kind of coverages we're in. It will be complete chaos on that football field and violent. Let's be honest, man. The game's won in the trenches, right? The game's won and lost in the trenches. So with that being said, it will be featured with our front 4, and it'll also be featured with our linebackers. They will all preach a chaotic violence kind of temperament, and if I don't get that, they'll be gone, and they'll be replaced by somebody else.
Controlled, chaotic violence. I like that. And by the way, I just realized since I am Shad Khan doing this interview, we're on the Kismet.
Okay, yeah. Never been on there. Heard great things once again.
We swam over from Ruth's Chris after.
We just got on a jet ski and kind of traversed over.
But that's an interesting way to say it. Take the violence away for a second.
Okay.
But the control and chaotic is different than what the Jaguars have been. one, they've been a little out of control at times.
Correct.
The discipline on defense has not been great.
Preach.
And they look out of place sometimes, like they don't all know what's going on. There are thoughts that Jalen Ramsey in the past has gone rogue on defensive calls and just done his own thing out of boredom or whatever else. And anything but chaotic. It's more been simplified. It's a simple defensive scheme to just go out there and play fast.
Yep.
So I'll leave the violent part out of
In case you
that.
didn't notice, last year teams were attacking our linebackers with the tight end the whole season.
Well, and they've been doing that for years and years. And it's a weak spot in the defense if you can attack it the right way and you have the personnel to do it. We've seen some teams do it. It's actually faded a little bit in past. It was so bad a few years back, and now it's gotten a little better. But
Hunter Henry says what's up, and that guy from the New York Jets, who I can't even remember his name because he's literally not even that on my radar, had a big day against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, and very few passing.
What was that guy's name?
Very few passing big games last year because they were running all over the Jags instead.
True.
But that lends me to what you just said. The controlled nature of this is Doug Marrone, Todd Wash, the Jaguars in general filled their personnel on the defensive side as they kind of replenish that side of the football with guys that are going to know where they're at and are going to be a little bit more stout against the run. So when you say stout against the run, I think your team's going to be pretty fundamentally sound.
Correct.
Right? So they've got big bodies. They've got a lot more girth up there up front. And then their linebacking core, all of a sudden, at times a weakness on this football team in the last couple of seasons, is now maybe the strength of your defense. Now, the pass rushing room is pretty special right now, it looks like, too. So the edge rushers. But I think that linebacking group, we talked about it, I think, last week. You have Schobert, who you know is going to be fundamentally sound. I'm not sure he's going to go to a Pro Bowl and all those things. I don't know if he's going to be elite, but you think he's going to be sound. He's an athletic guy. You've got Miles, who now can play more free, so that should free him up to play better and more sound, so he doesn't have to worry about everybody else and himself. And then you add some depth with what you have there, right? From Quarterman in the draft as a fourth-round pick, who is a lot of what those things you just mentioned, kind of that controlled, chaotic kind of player.
He's an ideal inside linebacker in a 3-4 defense.
And Quincy Williams now has a year under his belt, can come along a little bit more slowly, isn't tasked to do so much.
Essentially just kind of thrown in the fire, when obviously wasn't ready.
Absolutely. So now you actually have some depth at that spot. And I'd throw Lorente McRae in there or throw another name in there if you want, but this is not an area where the Jaguars, first of all, have been, I would say, superb since that 17 season when Telvin Smith and Miles seemed to play well, along with Puz, who finished his career in limited time, played well. But now even you could add some depth to that room, and you're pretty comfortable with it. So I like what you said about controlled and chaotic, but it goes back to me when you say controlled, I think fundamentally sound, and we're going to be able to stop the run and not leave these gaping holes, be out of our gaps, missed assignments. I think the Jaguars should be much more disciplined in that controlled phase you're talking about.
I mean, Shad Khan, you must be a fan of football, man, because you put the words right out of my mouth. Okay, when I say controlled, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When I say controlled, I mean guys are lined up properly, and you know what? Guys know what to do. They know their proper techniques. Because without that, Brent, the defense cannot work. Okay, if you have guys out there, and I think Quincy Williams said it brilliantly last year. Quincy Williams said when he first got to Jacksonville, they felt like his head was in a beehive. Right? It was different. The calls were different. The speed was different. Dropping back into coverage was different from. It was different. Okay? And I think a lot of guys on that, on that defense.
Might have been a murder hornet in there.
Ooh, there we go. Would also agree with him. Okay? And we saw it firsthand. When guys weren't lined up properly against the Panthers, the Texans, I mean, pick your team. Guys just weren't in the right spots. It's one thing to, lose a football game because, all right, that team was better than you. Okay? All right, that team was, you know what? They have better football players than you. I can't wholeheartedly sit here and say, when I look at the last season on that defense, that they just got outmanned, they got outgunned. No, that's guys, for whatever reason, were not in the right spots. So that's where control comes in. Because if you're not in the right spot, it doesn't matter. If you're hesitating, like, well, do I do this? Do I do that? You've already lost, okay? Because the game of football, it's a game of inches. It's the most cliche thing ever. But it's also a game of seconds. And if you spend a second thinking like, oh, crap, what do I do? That second means you just got beat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I included control. That's my number one thing we got to preach here.
And that's a good thing. And by the way, what you just said there, I remember several times on the wall that says it all last year, we'd show frame by frame, or maybe it was 3 or 4 frames later, but we're talking like a half a second later.
Yeah.
And player was in point A versus point B, and it was a wide margin. So you're not wrong about that. I mean, you've played it, obviously. It goes fast, and a half a second makes up a lot of time. That's
Correct.
why speed does matter. And this team looks fast. I mean, this Jaguars team has speed to it on the defensive side. The next part you said is chaos.
Chaotic,
and so chaotic, I feel like, is disguise.
Nailed it.
And the Jags have been very simple. My question to you is, hybrid 4-3-3-4, is that enough to fool people? Is that enough to make people think a little bit, hesitate, add a little doubt on the offensive end just by mixing up those kind of defenses?
Listen, you can be chaotic in a 4-3. You can be chaotic in a 3-4 or in a 3-4 hybrid or in a bear defense or in an eagle defense. It doesn't matter what you call. You can be chaotic out of any of those. But what you have to do is make sure that you call the right plays, okay? Now, last year, we saw hints of it, right? And I think Todd Wash was the guy that said that last year. Yannick Ngakoue wasn't around, so they didn't really implement a lot of new things because the guys weren't around to implement those things too. Okay, I mean, I'm going to sit here and say you probably could have talked about it on the phone. You probably could have sent an email about it, and it would have reciprocated to him, but it is what it is. Okay, fine. So let's go into this year now. When I say that you have to be chaotic, I mean that you have to disguise things. You have to have an offensive lineman. You have to have an offensive coordinator sit in his meeting and go, you know what? These guys do this, but I'll be honest with you, they disguise it so well, I'm not sure where the blitz is going to be coming from. Is Miles Jack going to be blitzing? And is Josh Allen going to be falling back into coverage? Is Yannick Ngakoue coming? That's where the chaotic thing comes in. And that's what makes a 3-4 defense so great. Now, granted, you have to have the right personnel to do this. You have to have the athletes, the speed, and the recognition. And, you have to be able to control, obviously, what is called. You have to do your job. Because let's be honest, Brent, a 3-4 defense, there's a lot more tentacles and there's a lot more things to know than a 4-3 defense. So once again, I go back to the first point, controlled. But once you have that down, then you let it fly. You let Miles Jack blitz. Schobert can come blitz. You have a NASCAR package where you have Josh Allen, Yannick Ngakoue, and then you have Chason. Oh, I'll say that again. Yeah, let's go ahead and have a NASCAR package with Josh Allen, Chason, and Yannick Ngakoue. Can you imagine, Brent? Hey, don't worry. Those goosebumps will go away, okay? Those are the types of things that I'm talking about. Having those guys stand up, move across the line. You don't know who's blitzing. You don't know who's going to run a twist. Those are the type of chaotic things because guess what? You have the talent now, okay? You have the talent at the pass rushing position, and you have the talent at the inside linebacker position where you can do these kind of things. So that's where chaotic comes in.
I've heard coaches say this on the chaotic front, though. Can you confuse yourself overall, right? Is it best to do what you do and know what you do, even if the other team kind of knows what you do because you know where to be? Or is it best to confuse things, but at the risk of maybe missing an assignment, being out of place, communication goes awry, especially on the road if there's a lot of fans and the place going nuts?
Yeah.
Is that a risky thing to do? Kind of what the Patriots implement sometimes, right? Kind of this new defense every week type of thing.
Yeah.
Is that risky? And especially with a young football team, is it risky?
So I'm probably going to make a lot of defensive coordinators pull their hair out, ones that do still have hair, and I'm probably going to offend some people here that coach the defensive side of the ball. But, Brent, who was the best defense last year in the NFL? What would you say? What do you think?
Let's see.
I would say the New England Patriots. I think the Patriots hands down. I mean,
I think they were statistically.
Well, I mean,
first 8 games, they were unbelievable.
Their scoring defense. I mean, everything was just how many touchdowns they score. So I think the Patriots last year were their best defense. Also spearheaded by one of the best defensive minds of all time in Bill Belichick. Okay? I come from the philosophy where you can do the same thing over and over again, okay? And you can tell the guys that, you know what? As long as we do our jobs and we do it 100%, the offense can't score on us, okay? And you know what? I used to share that kind of philosophy. I used to say, you know what? As long as it's simple, it's okay because if everyone's doing their job on the same page, offense can't score. But the way the offensive-minded coaches work now, the way the Andy Reids, the Doug Petersons, the way those guys work now, Brent, they will always find a weakness, okay? They will always exploit something. So that's why I'm a fan of what Bill Belichick does. Bill Belichick says a couple things. Number one, the top receiver, we're taking him out of the game. Okay? Don't care if it's DeAndre Hopkins. Don't care if it's A.J. Green. Don't care if it's DJ Chark. Don't care. The one receiver will not beat us. Every single game, Patriots do it. Now, whether that's double teaming them, whether that's putting Stephen Gilmore on them, whatever it is, the one receiver will not beat us. I love that philosophy. But then it's like, all right, who else can beat us? Who else on this offense can beat us? And that's where Bill Belichick's so genius, where he tailors the defense each week. Now, keep in mind, you have to have guys in the locker room that can do that. right? Because it's hard to throw a new defense in every single week. You have to have the vets. You have to have the guys that are willing to go home and study at home as well, take their business home with them. When I see this Jaguars defense right now, we talk about what? The youngest team in the NFL. So that does make me nervous. But if it's me and my philosophy, I'm tailoring my defense to what an offense does well every single week.
Interesting. Let me ask you about this before I get into the last part.
And one more thing, and let's be honest. That philosophy, maybe 20% of the NFL defensive coordinators share that philosophy. Because it's still an old way of thinking where everyone's like, well, you know what? If we do things our way, no one can stop us. Yeah. And that's where defensive coordinators are so stubborn.
So we have the controlled part, the chaotic part, a little bit more disguised, fundamentally sound, going to stop the run a little better. I like hearing that if I'm Shad Khan. It was bad last year.
Yeah.
I also like the idea that we're changing defenses a little bit. Hybrid or 4-3, a little mix, because we haven't seen that around here, and I'm in for something new. Let's try something new. Try something a little different. And I like to do things different than they've been done because, quite frankly, it hasn't worked since I've owned the team.
Correct.
But you, Austin Lane, Todd Wash, have come from the 4-3 scheme.
I have.
At one point said, as long as I'm here, I'm going to run the 4-3 scheme.
Yeah.
How hard of an adjustment is that going to be for you that we now have personnel that better fits the 3-4, even though you're a 4-3 guy?
That's hard, right?
I don't know.
Because, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you right now. It wasn't a question. I'm just talking to myself. It's hard, okay? Because where I'm at right now as a defensive coordinator, there's ego involved. And there's ego involved from the standpoint of the way I've done things for probably the last 10 years of my coaching career or whatever it is, okay? I learned a philosophy. I studied under somebody, and I've implied that philosophy to my defense, and it's always been that way. But at the same time, I'm willing to adapt because whether it's the animal kingdom or the game of football, you either adapt or you die, okay? And the last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they died on the field, okay? Their defense, horrible. Couldn't stop a nosebleed, okay? Got out gunned, say what you want. It wasn't good last year for their defense. So if I'm Todd Wash, I realize this, okay? And I take a look in the mirror and I go, you know what? I have a way of doing things, and I believe in it. But unfortunately, whether it's the personnel, whether it's the situation here in Jacksonville, it's not working. So will it be easy? Absolutely not. It's always going to be a nightmare to install a new defense, especially to such a young group of players. Now, we do have vets in the room now from Arizona, vets from Seattle. We have vets from Cleveland who have ran a 3-4 defense before, who've been in great locker rooms before, who know what they're doing. So with that being said, I'm a little more confident where, yes, we have a young team, and with this landscape right now of COVID-19, it's going to be hard to get my message across. But that's where the vets come in. That's where the guys that you're paying your money to, Shad Khan, come in and help me out.
Do the players like the diversity of a defense? Or are they going to have headaches?
Good question.
All season?
Good question.
Because they're in their books all the time. They're asking questions all the time. They're not playing as fast. They're taking that half a second to think.
Yeah.
Do the players thrive even though 4-3-3-4? And again, I go back to you can mention the veteran guys, but we also have a lot of young guys on this team.
So here's the thing. Do players thrive? I come from playing in a Mel Tucker 4-3 defense that preached simplicity, okay? And I love playing in that defense because it made my job easy. First, second down, I come on the field and I stop the run, okay? I play the tight end. I'm ingrained with this in me. If a tight end's trying to block me, I throw him to the side. I essentially, as Coach Cullen would say, I kick his ass because you should be offended when a tight end tries to block you one-on-one. Any defensive end that gets blocked one-on-one by a tight end, just take your walking papers and get out, okay? Because that's the ultimate sign of disrespect. When a team blocks a defensive end one-on-one with a tight end, we'll see you, okay? So with that being said, it was simplicity, and I loved it, man, because I knew what my job was every single game, every single week leading up to that game. I knew what I was going to do. So I loved it, man. It was easy. I don't want to sit here and say football is easy because it's not. But from that standpoint, the X's and O's, I had it made. But was I having fun with it? Well, we were successful for a couple years with it, okay? And then towards the end, teams started to catch on offense. But I'm going to say this. Is it easy? No. Is it going to be fun, though, if we can succeed? Absolutely. Because when we add new wrinkles every single week, you know what that means? It means more guys are making plays. It means more guys are getting those SportsCenter top 10 nominees and scoring touchdowns on defense. And to me, that's what football is all about, man. It's about having fun. It's about making plays. It's about getting interceptions, causing fumbles, quarterback sacks, and it's about celebrating in the backfield and letting the team know, you know what? We hit you right here, and we'll be back for the next play. That's why I get excited when you add wrinkles to a team.
All right, take a bathroom break. This is a long interview. When we come back, we go to the last part of it. You said controlled. We've nailed that. You said chaotic. We hit on that. Your 4-3 scheme going to a 3-4 to some degree. You comfortable with it? Well, players thrive in it. You hit on that. You mentioned the word violent. I've watched this football team play, and violent hasn't come to my mind. What makes you think this football team can have a violent presence about them in 2020?
Alert, I'm about to go against the players' code a little bit, and there's going to be some players that are not going to be happy with me when we talk about violence.
Oh, boy. You remember it's like The Last Dance. Everybody's calling out everybody now. Also, when we come back, that's the physical side of things. What about the mental side? Who's going to wear a C for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Who should their captains be in 2020? All that on the way, plus more schedule talk. The opener should be a doozy in the NFL this year, not just for the Jags, but for the entire NFL. We'll get to it on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunny, breezy, and mild today. Highs in the mid-70s, near record lows in the upper 40s tonight. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Weather is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Did you have to postpone popping the question because of the COVID crisis? Get 5 years, 0 interest now at Beards Diamonds.
Let's continue to celebrate the seniors. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and this is your Swoop Minute on the campus of the University of North Florida. Let's highlight a couple of baseball players. Brandon Wrights, senior pitcher out of Ocala. He split time as UNF's Saturday and Sunday starter, seeing 19 starts out of 21 outings on the mound. In 2019, he tied the UNF D1 single-season record for games started and picked up a couple of W's. Tanner Clark lettered for 2 seasons at UNF after coming to North Florida after 2 years at Lake Sumter College. Clark hit .306 as a junior, and in the final game of 2020, he drove in 4 runs and clubbed a 3-run home run in a win over Ohio State. Some Ospreys news. Men's basketball coach Matthew Driscoll and his staff announced the addition of junior transfer Alonde Legrand to the Ospreys incoming class for 2020, and the A-Sun Conference announced men's golf all-conference accolades. Michael Matisse and Davis Lee earned recognition by the coaches. On the women's side, Ospreys honorees included Sydney Schrader, Teresa Conroy, Sarah McKevitt, and Mindy Herrick. For all things Ospreys, go to UNFOspreys.com. That's your Swoop Minute.
When you think about your AC system, do you think cool, clean, efficient air? Or maintenance, costly repairs, filters, refrigerant, wear and tear from our extreme Jacksonville temperatures, year-round humidity, and salty air? You know that most of the time, AC ownership is anything but stress-free. That's why Wakehoff's AC offers stress-free AC ownership. For a low monthly cost, starting at just $100 per month, you get a brand new efficient AC system with a smart thermostat. All of your repairs are covered with both parts and labor at no charge. Wakehoff's is going to conduct all your maintenance visits for free, keeping your system running cool, efficient, and clean. And they'll even take care of all your filters. Starting at just $100 per month or just $155 a month for the highest performing system. Imagine a brand new efficient system. No cost repairs, no cost maintenance, no cost filters, no stress. It's the stress-free AC program from Wakehoff's. Call them today, 880-5525 or wakehoffsac.com.
Chronic or acute pain doesn't just disappear during a crisis, and neither does Cora Physical Therapy. Throughout this time, Cora remains dedicated to your health and safety. With 15 Jacksonville area clinics, Cora Physical Therapy provides quality care wherever you're most comfortable. In clinic, where we disinfect after every touch. Telehealth gives you remote access to licensed therapists, or Cora therapists will even come to you. We are grateful for our patients' trust and our clinicians' bravery. What matters most is your health, so Cora provides care anywhere you prefer it. Learn more at coraphysicaltherapy.com.
Where is this water coming from?
Who will deliver us lunch?
Why is the air conditioner blowing hot air?
Where can I get a tire fixed?
Do you know someone who can get marker stains out of the carpet?
What do we need to do to get the pool ready?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
These days, the whole world is on the internet 24/7, on their phones, at work, even at the dinner table. It's the internet all the time. So why, when it's time to sell your home, does your traditional agent charge you 6% to list it on the MLS to other agents instead of targeting buyers directly online? That's why Rex was born. For a fee starting at 2%, Rex sells your home where buyers are looking, online, optimized by data-driven marketing, not the MLS. To get started, visit sellwithrex.com. That's sellwithrex.com. With Rex, selling or buying a home has never been easier. Price your home, get a virtual consultation, visit online open houses and showings, all from the comfort of your home with a few clicks of a button. Want to learn more? Visit sellwithrex.com or just use your phone and call 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-739-4663. License number CQ 1057788. Minimum fee may apply. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Mellow Mushroom, Coast to Coast Fence, Beaches Fence and Deck, Troy Haulers Transportation, Chris White Lawyer, Tropical Lawns. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
They say singing can help you remember things, so here's some tips for parents out there during these tough times.
Number 1.
Make sure your kids wash their hands for 20 seconds after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside.
2.
Virtual play dates, social and physical distancing can help save lives.
3.
Tell them they're safe and show your love and pride. Yes, we'll get through this together. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Chuck Barnes. At Barnes & Cohen, we're pulling out all the stops to protect your health and ours. We have the latest software that enables our staff who are at high risk to work remotely without sacrificing first-class representation. Our offices remain open. We have a sanitized conference room, but maybe your best option, meet us here in our courtyard. Barnes & Cohen will continue to serve you in the safest way possible.
This is a CMG Build Jax business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for all. Business across North Florida, big and small, are adjusting to meet your needs and give you great deals to build back. Like George Moore Chevrolet, 0% APR for 84 months. See dealership for other incentives. Please support local stimulus. Email buildjax@cmg.com. That's buildjax@cmg.com. We're in this together, and together we will win. This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Terra Motors, Pat's Nursery, J&J Tree Experts, Cure Pharmacy, Spatola Contracting, Fisherman's Dock Seafood Market. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
This is not the year the graduating class of 2020 wanted or expected, so we're asking for your help to make sure they get recognized. Whether it's a student athlete that's committed to play college sports or a kid who's missing out on graduation, visit ESPN690.com to nominate them for a shout-out. Then listen weekdays at 4 p.m. to Action Sports Jax to hear Brendan Austin give them the props they deserve.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
the most important part is having the experience in the room. When we get the young guys, the young bodies who are coming, if they have the idea to just be an open book, ready to soak up all the information, ready to learn. A lot of these kids coming in from college are just athletes who don't have a lot of wear and tear on their body. So if they can soak it all in, do things the right way, and listen to the veterans, that there's no telling how far a lot of them can go. The problem is you got to have some of those veterans on the team who know what they're doing, know what they have been through the NFL seasons before. Because from college to NFL is a huge step up, and just mentally in terms of what you got to do on defense, what you have to handle. No matter who you are, when you come in, it's going to take time to process it, get a playbook down.
That is Joe Schobert. Is he ready to lead? Is he ready to be one of those guys and be a captain? He's the quarterback of this defense. He's been asked to come in and do that. Last guy that was asked to come in and do that in free agency did one heck of a job. That was Paul Posluszny. Yep. And so if Schobert can be a little bit of that, and by the way, way more athletic Posluszny. So a lot of people that didn't like Posluszny's athleticism gave him a hard time for covering people and never thought he was as good as we all made him out to be. This guy has athleticism for days. Now from a mental, physical, toughness, fundamental standpoint, can Joe Schobert be that kind of guy to kind of just steady this defense, you know? And it's so erratic, this defense was last year. It was so great in 17. It was disappointing even though it finished top 5 in 18 because it didn't turn the ball over at all. And in 19, it was just erratic. I don't know another word to say it. It was all over. It was Jalen Ramsey. Erratic. You didn't know what you were going to get for that 3-week span. Well, the Jags defense, you didn't know what you were going to get every single game. 200 yards rushing, 68-yard touchdown run, maybe a sack. You know, it wasn't all bad for the defense last year, but there were too many bad moments.
Yep.
So right now you are kind of jumping in on an interview here. We're on the Kismet, and I'm Shad Khan.
You are.
You're
Austin Lane.
Austin Lane, Todd Wash, new defensive coordinator.
Defensive coordinator hopeful.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to figure out an identity for the Jags defense. Mm-hmm. Your identity is controlled, chaotic, violent.
Nicely said.
We went through already the controlled, and just to recap, it's more the fundamental side of things. This is what Doug Marrone and Todd Wash and guys like that are talking about, really. Yep. That is stop the run. Do a better job. Be able to stop the run and know that you can stop the run. Missed assignments, that erratic nature, get rid of it. The next stage of this is chaotic. Mm-hmm. Jags have been a very simple defense for a long time, not just under Wash, not just under Gus Bradley. You even said it going back to Mel Tucker and Jack Del Rio to a degree, I guess, right?
And then we had some success, but once again, I mean, times have changed.
Listen, if I'm Todd Wash, I'm saying I'll show you the numbers. We've had success. I mean, the numbers have said they've had some success, but this little move to the 3-4 gives you some chaos. Chaos means moving around a little bit. Gives you a little bit of disguise. It's not as simple. You can be multiple. I love that word in football, multiple. So we discussed that. The last part is violent. Mm-hmm. And this is really, as the owner, and I'm sitting here on the Kismet, and it's another beautiful day in Jacksonville, here on the St. Johns River.
Who you telling?
This is the one that in my ownership we have not been. We have had violent moments on the defensive side. But if I tell you the Jacksonville Jaguars and I say, give me 3 hits in the last couple of years that you were like, whoa, I don't think you can come up with them. I don't think you can come up with 3. And when a violent football team, you can come up with a couple of hits.
Or with a player.
You can remember, or a player, and you can be like, oh, man, How many people still talk about what Donovan Darius did in the Jags uniform? And what do they mention? They mention the hits. Nobody is talked about that in Jacksonville like that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think I always have to go back and clarify this. And this is to all the players that might listen to this. This is not me calling anybody soft. This is not me disrespecting the violent nature. Every play is violent.
Yes.
But there are teams that are more physical by nature, and that's their calling card. It hasn't been that here in Jacksonville, and that's not always bad. I'm trying to figure out if that's okay, because in 17, this was a playmaking defense that scored almost as many touchdowns, it felt like, as the offense at times, and that was okay. That was awesome. That was dangerous for other teams coming in. but I feel like I need a little more violence. I want a little more violence, but how are we going to get there with this football team? Because you just told me about the chaotic nature and the controlled nature of and how athletic my linebackers are and everything else, but can they be violent?
So this is kind of like the third part of my interview right now, right?
Yeah.
This is the punctuation. It's going to be a drive home if I get hired or not. Okay, first of all, let me start up by saying this. You cannot have a successful football team and not be violent, especially on defense, okay? Because that's what I'm getting brought in for. So in terms of violence, it's such kind of even a taboo word right now, Shad, right? Because we're in 2020 and people hear the word violence and they cringe at it, okay? But let's be honest, man. When it comes to violence on a football field, I'll be honest with you straight up. I can't teach that, okay? I can ingrain that, but I can't tell somebody to go out there and say, hey, go be violent, go be violent. No, either you have that or you don't when you cross the white lines. So I'm going to make sure that I bring in guys that have that trait. I'm going to make sure that we have guys on this team that still want to stay on this team that have that trait, because that's the only way this defense is going to work. Now, you say right now, we have the youngest team in the NFL. Austin, what are you going to do right now with this team to make sure that they bring that violent demeanor when they cross the white lines? Answer is simple, and it's not going to be a great one in terms of the locker room, and they're going to hate me for it. We're going to up training camp a little bit because we have to, because we're too young right now. We don't have enough older vets to lead the way. We don't have enough vets who have been here in Jacksonville who know what Jacksonville is all about yet. Sure, we brought in some great guys, but they haven't been here. So you know what we have to do? We have to go from the ground level, and we got to start taking up training camp again and ramping it up a little bit. Now, we're going to be smart. We're going to listen to our guys. We're going to listen to the team positions. We're going to do all that stuff because at the end of the day, players' health should be the number one priority. But we will work as well. We will work until it is ingrained in us that, you know what, whether you want to trade jerseys after the game, whether you want to walk to the stadium rocking your Louis Vuitton $2,000 shoes with your mink coats and your shades, that's fantastic. But as soon as you get on the field and as soon as I'm calling the plays, you will play with a violent demeanor or you will not be on this team.
That sounds great.
Good.
But as I look at my depth chart,
okay.
I'm saying, okay, who's going to be my leader of that? You have to, when you have an identity, when you have a violent football team, you have a player that you identify with that.
Correct.
You know, I think every team does. And you can go through the years and name that player. I think when you were talking about the Steelers earlier, you brought up a James Harrison, right?
Yeah.
Physical player. But you didn't think of him as a fast player. Or
Lance Briggs.
Sure. Any of those. Josh Allen. Avery Jones, Taven Bryan, Jan, Miles Jack, Joe Schobert, Kayvon Chason, Ronnie Harris. I'll even bring the safeties in. Ronnie Harrison, Jared Wilson. I'm not going to go with the corners. They don't need to be violent. Al Woods, Devon Hamilton, Rodney Gunter, DeJuan Smoot.
Yep.
You know what? I got to get all the way down to almost my backup linebackers where I say, those guys now, they can knock some heads. Leon Jacobs is he looks like a machine if you look at him without a jersey on.
Yeah.
He probably can knock you into next week.
Sure.
And Shaq Quarterman, I think brings that. Yep. I think he brings that a little bit to you. But they're my backup guys.
Sure.
Those aren't even my guys. Do we have the personnel on this football team to be violent, to be this physical football team?
Shad, if you listen to ESPN 690 and go back, we have a podcast, we're on Apple Music, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. I want you to go back to the beginning of the show when I talked about a 3-4 defense of how essential a middle linebacker is. Okay? Now, I myself play with a guy by the name of, I'll call him Puz because I can't pronounce his last name. Yeah, played with him for a couple years, still can't pronounce the guy's last name. He understands that. It is what it is. We're still friends and we're all fine. But
we can drink to that.
Yeah, but we exactly. But when you talk about Puz was never the guy who, when he went on the field, is like, oh, we better, he wasn't screaming at anybody, okay? He didn't really even have that threatening of a demeanor. Now, he looked like a G.I. Joe Captain America type, but he didn't have a demeanor where he's like, I'm going to knock you into next year. But guess what? When that whistle was blown and the play was called, you could see it in Puz's eyes that something bad was going to happen for the opponent. So we had faith in him, and he was the guy that was calling the shots. So when I see Joe Schobert and I see all the comparisons to Puz, to me, it's a Joe Schobert brings, right? Where I don't need a guy like a Ray Lewis who's going to be all leading these crazy dances and leading these pregame, breakdowns. I need a guy who's going to get guys lined up, and when it's time to go, the switch goes on, and he inflicts damage. And I think Schobert can do that. okay? And anytime you have your field general, anytime you have your linebacker that can do that, guess what? It's contagious, and that goes to your defensive line. It goes to the guys in the secondary behind them. But that's where it starts. It starts with your linebacking core. I think Schobert can do that, and also I think Myles Jack can do that. Is Myles Jack the biggest talker on the field? Probably not. Does he bring the most violence? We'll see. But you know what? I'm going to put him in a position to be violent. I'm going to put him in a position where I'm going to say, you know what, Myles Jack, I don't need you to guess all these plays. I don't need you to call all these shots, get guys lined up. All I need you to do is run around like your hair is on fire, come downhill, and deliver the pain. And I think Myles Jack can do that.
Controlled.
So, yes, exactly.
Controlled, chaotic, violent.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't
I don't know if we're going to hire you, but we're going to steal that for our slogan.
I'm going to be doing Uber driving. I'm going to drive past the stadium in big letters with, like, you know, Joe Schobert and Myles Jack, whoever outside the stadium, controlled chaotic violence, and be like, yeah, that was me. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Where are you trying to go? Yeah, that was me, though.
That was a heck of an interview.
Yeah, heck of an interview. Yeah.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. All right, there's a different part of this. We just spent a lot of time talking about this defense.
That was a long interview, sir.
Well, actually, it's kind of short, probably, by NFL standards.
I hope so, I guess. Yeah.
And we also, if we're going to make this a slogan, we need to do a little – violence a tough one to get away with.
I know.
So we got to come up with a different word.
Aggressive, relentless?
Relentless.
I like relentless.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that was a Mel Tucker thing. That was relentless. Do we steal? I mean, he's in college, so yeah, he's fine. He's not going to notice.
We just took one of his best players from Colorado. I mean,
it's a good point. Yeah, he's cool with it. He's cool with it.
You know what's funny about the whole violent, physical nature of it? Yeah. I feel like Chenault is a guy that might give you that more. And so we talk defensive end, but they're offensive.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, he's built like one.
I know, yeah.
But their offensive side of the football might get that, actually, that little edge to them because of him. Not because of necessarily their offensive line, their physicality, not necessarily their running back in terms of Fournette, although he can dish it out.
And same thing with Jawan Taylor, too. He's promising in terms of dishing out the violence.
Yeah, but I think Chenault would be the guy that would give you the edge, and people would be like, hey, they're a physical football team right there. You know what's interesting is Maurice Jones-Drew gave that to the Jags. We're talking about a guy who's 5'9".
Yeah.
But he's the guy that gave that to the Jags.
One could say that Deebo Samuel was a big reason why the 49ers were so physical on offense as well.
I would agree, but I feel like their offensive line also got tagged with that.
They were set up for success, though, before Deebo Samuel got there, but he helped.
All right, next part of this. So that's the physical side, now the mental side.
Okay.
We have had a trouble around here naming captains. A couple years ago, we had the worst set of captains maybe ever assembled in any sport, and I'm talking peewee football, t-ball, or anything. It didn't happen. Didn't work out. I need two captains on the. Sorry, special teams, but I've already named Lorente McCray and Josh Lambo as your captains, okay?
Spoiler alert, yeah.
We need two on the offensive side and two on the defensive side for captains of this football team. Can you find them? I think it might mean something this year. We have a young football team.
It's going to mean a lot. Do you want to say yours first? Because I don't want to. This is a hard exercise. Okay, listen, I'll start. I got it.
You got it?
We going offense or defense first, Brent? I'll go and then you go.
Okay.
Are we going offense or defense first?
Nah, wherever you want to start.
Well, you know me. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball then. Okay. Captains right now the way it stands. And then this is a hard one because let's be honest here. Obviously, Yannick Ngakoue is not going to be here for future plans, and he might not even be here for the regular season if he gets traded. So
we traded away our captain.
So yeah. Thank you.
That's about the only thing that didn't happen
service
in 2018.
Yeah. Well, you traded away. You traded away Calais Campbell after the season.
Yeah, after. But I'm saying 18 was a mess with the captains. That would have been the only thing that would have helped, and that would have added to it.
Yeah. So to me, in my opinion, it comes down to three people. It comes down to Josh Allen. Comes down to Myles Jack, who's been a captain before, and it comes down to Joe Schobert. Joe Schobert, so here's the problem with Joe Schobert, right? Because he hasn't even been here yet. He hasn't even met anybody yet in person, okay? And it takes a special type of guy to walk through that building day one and earn the respect to the standpoint of, you know what, this guy's special, let's make him a captain. Now, you know who did that? Puz did that. I'll never forget it, man. Puz walked in the first day. Once again, looks like a damn G.I. Joe. I'm like, well, I knew Puz before, too. I mean, we all knew Puz before. But he walks in as like, just that aura of like, yeah, this guy's going to be captain for sure. It's just, you might as well had a Metallica soundtrack playing behind him when he walked through the door the first time. Like, the guy had it. You knew what was up. So we had no problem nominating Puz as a captain his very first year here. And I think Joe Schobert's going to be that same type of guy, especially when you talk about how essential it is to have that middle linebacker in a 3-4 defense who's going to line you up properly. So I'm going Joe Schobert, number one, as a captain. Other one, it comes down to Myles Jack or Josh Allen. Hard decision because both guys are in, the Jaguar system for a while. I mean, going forward, they're going to be in the future plans. Myles Jack gets a new contract. Josh Allen still on his rookie deal going into a second season. I would honestly, where it stands right now, I'd go Josh Allen as a captain going into a second year.
Here's a little bit of an issue with Josh Allen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Recent history hasn't been good on that. Myles Jack, a young player, Telvin Smith, a young player, and even second-year player Leonard Fournette was voted a captain, and that really didn't work out that year. I'd be a little nervous of the young guy. But
Josh Allen's not those guys.
I know, and you don't have a lot of choices, right? I mean, you've got a lot of young guys. It's a young football team. So you said Myles Jack and Josh Allen?
No, I said Joe Schobert
and
Josh Allen.
I'm going to take the whole responsibility thing with you off of Myles Jack as well because it didn't work last year. I mean, right out of the gates, he gets ejected from the game.
Yeah. Wasn't a good look.
Bad look.
Yep.
I think Myles Jack can still listen, guys can play a captain's role without wearing the C.
Of course.
But I'm not going to put it on his plate. I agree with you on Schobert. I think Schobert is going to be a guy that he needs to lead it.
Yeah.
They've asked him to. He needs to. It doesn't matter where he's been, how he hasn't been here, how many people he knows. Do some icebreakers, make some phone calls, and you're the guy. You have to be that. I think he's the quarterback of that defense and brings the veteran presence. Here's what's an interesting one for me, and you tell me if this can happen. But I actually think a great guy to be a captain for this defense is DJ Hayden. He is tough. He's no nonsense. He's a veteran guy. He's on the field enough. 65. He doesn't necessarily start because he's a nickel guy. I wonder if that's a problem.
Yep.
But he's on the field a lot, man.
Yeah.
And I think he's pretty well respected. He didn't have time for it didn't feel like, I should say, have time for the BS of Jalen. He was like, let's go play football. Guy's faking a back injury. He's walking into a hotel the night before a game with a boot on his foot, limping in, and plays the next day. He's that guy. I think he's earned the respect. I think, again, if there was a such thing as a nickel Pro Bowl guy, he would have been it.
He's talented.
Last year.
And talent means something in choosing a captain.
Talent, tough, veteran guy. I feel like gives me a little bit more than maybe Josh Allen or all those guys could be. And I don't want to put extra weight on the young guys.
Sure.
And so, I really think, I just don't know his role on the team, Avery Jones. I mean, could Avery Jones be in that role? He's the Papa figure in there, man. He's the longest tenured guy. He's a fun guy. I think people respect him. I just don't know how they see him. And again, if he's not starting and now Woods is the guy,
exactly.
But it's a little different with Hayden. Hayden, his position doesn't necessarily start, but he's in there on the second play of the game.
Sure.
So I like Schobert, but I also like a guy who's been here, and I give Hayden the nod. And I'm thinking Hayden on the defensive side.
And listen, I'm not mad at that at all. I think that's a great pick. As far as Josh Allen's concerned, and I get what you're saying here. Going into a second year, that's a lot for him to handle. But, Brent, you talked to Josh Allen. We've seen Josh Allen in press conferences and interviews. Josh Allen has the maturity and the mindset of a 10-year vet. Simple as that.
He does.
Okay?
He would handle it fine.
Simple as that, man.
I'm not trying to knock him.
Yeah, exactly. So I lean a little more towards Josh Allen just because, and listen, the criteria of a captain is different on every single team. And you can make an argument and say, well, usually the best player should be captain. Well, I say Jalen Ramsey, and you say, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was never a captain. So there is that. But I think with Josh Allen's mentality, his mindset, his maturity, and the fact that guy can go on the field and make a lot of plays, and cause chaos, I wouldn't mind putting the C on him. But I can see where you're coming from with Hayden as well.
All right, on the offensive end, I'll go first.
Let's hear it.
I don't see any need to change Brandon Linder and what he is. On that offensive line. He's been around a long time. He's wore the C before. A couple years ago when he wore the C, he didn't finish the season. He's coming off arguably his best year as a pro. He's seen a lot. And I think quietly is respected. He doesn't say a whole heck of a lot, at least that we know from a public standpoint.
Plays a very important position, kind of the field general of the offensive line.
Absolutely. He's right in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. That guy in the middle, whether you're talking baseball or football, is an important guy, and we're talking about that on the defensive side with Schobert.
Yeah.
And, man, I am rolling this entire season. I'm rolling the dice on this entire season with Gardner Minshew. He is my face of my franchise right now. He is the alpha dog, according to a lot of his teammates. He's respected in that way. Mm-hmm. Put it on him. Put it on him. He is the guy. And you know what? When you do that, you tell him we believe. You're telling the rest of the team, while there's all these doubters nationally that don't believe in him, that who knows if they'll make it through the 16 games. You're telling your football team, go follow this guy. We believe in this guy. Look what he's done. What a story. He's going to outwork you. Just like a lot of captains do. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be a smart move. You're already rolling the dice on this season a little bit. I think I would add to that roll and put Gardner Minshew and give him a C.
I agree with you there. Okay, so you had Brandon Linder and Gardner Minshew. Be honest with you, I mean, that could easily have been my choices too, but since I'll play the contrarian a little bit, I got to go Gardner Minshew first of all, because you said it. I mean, the entire season rolls on Gardner Minshew, okay? So, yes, that guy's absolutely captain. He's earned his C, his story, what he's brought to the team, the respect that he's earned, the most important position in football. But, of course, Gardner Minshew's a C. I make a case for DJ Chark to be the other captain. Now, one could say Leonard Fournette, but let's be honest, man. He's not going to be here going forward. How does he feel about almost getting traded?
I can guarantee Leonard Fournette won't be a captain.
But I'm saying, you could. I mean, he has matured, though, Brent, right? He's kind of taken the necessary steps to be an NFL caliber guy. But yeah, I agree with you, okay? So I'm going DJ Chark. And I think sometimes whether, it's you lead by example or you lead by, your voice and your actions, whatever it is. And I don't know what type of guy DJ Chark really even is. I mean, I've seen the press conferences. Seems just like a pretty laid-back dude. He's been a friend on the show before. Seems like a pretty chill guy. But DJ Chark has figured the game out. And I say that from his first year into his second year, he's figured out how to be successful, okay? He's found the right formula. And I think going forward, he's going to continue to be successful. Now, whatever the rhyme or reason why that happened to DJ Chark, I can't say, but he figured it out. And no disrespect to Brandon Linder, because once again, I'd make him a captain, absolutely. But to play the contrarian, make DJ Chark a captain, because this is a guy that kind of came out of nowhere a little bit and now is one of the faces of the team, whether you like it or not. He's a Pro Bowler. People are talking about him, so make him a captain as well.
All right. I don't mind it. We will take your suggestions, by the way, on the captaincy for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who would you name? Bold City Cap just said, on offense, Dilla and Dilla. On defense, Dilla and Dilla. I'm blocking Cap.
Shots fired. So salty, though, huh?
Mike King says, Linder, Minshew, Allen, and Lambeau. Snugs says Fournette, Linder, Miles, Jack, McCray.
See, there's a lot of Fournette guys out there.
There's one. Hey, by the way, we're going to give away a Metro Diner $50 gift card right now. Caller number 3. That's because week 3 might be that primetime game, says Dilla. 904-362-9901 or star 690. Caller number 3, $50 Metro Diner gift card. Get your ready-to-heat brunch, lunch, and dinner meals ready. And you got to order them by Friday. Now, you have until tomorrow. Meat lovers, casserole, roasted turkey, or pot roast for Mom's Day. You can pick them up tomorrow, Saturday, or Sunday, but you got to order them up by tomorrow. $50 gift card. Call in 904-362-9901.
Little correction. That's actually week 2 for Miami Thursday night is what Dilla said.
Oh, well.
But it's caller number 3. There you go.
904-362-9901. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane. Over the last few weeks, the COVID-19 crisis has taken a toll on many families in our area, and some are having to choose between paying for power or their next meal. Well, you can help. We're partnering with Feeding Northeast Florida for a virtual food drive. To donate, go to ESPN690.com. That's ESPN690.com.
We here at J. David Tax Law wanted to let our community know that we are here to help individuals and businesses with tax debt issues during the coronavirus event. The United States government has issued a $2 trillion economic stimulus package. The IRS has been tasked with collecting an unprecedented amount of tax debt to fund this historic initiative. If you owe a tax debt, there are new programs available that can help reduce or eliminate your IRS or sales tax burden. These programs expire on July 15th, 2020. So if you have federal or sales tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, or unfiled returns, we are here for you and your family. Call J. David Tax Law now for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com. Greater peace of mind is only a click or a phone call away.
As the virus creates more questions, you need a voice you can trust. At Action News Jax, we put truth over hype.
We want to try and put your mind at ease.
Our team of reporters, dedicated, researching, constantly pushing for answers, talking to doctors, scientists, and experts, so you're informed on the local impact. Because the more you know, the safer you'll be. Watch CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax. We are Jax in this together.
Do you hear something in the attic?
Where do you want to eat tonight?
Why won't the lights work?
Where should I take my car for engine work? Do you think I need to get this spot checked out?
Where did these bugs come from?
When are we going to paint the house?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Hey Jacksonville, are you ready for some good news? Right now, you can score tremendous savings during the construction sale at Arlington Toyota. You choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Now that's huge. Get to Arlington today, where you can drive away in a Toyota Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Corolla for $199 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. How about a Toyota Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Camry for $249 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. So go see him today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. May offers for full details.
Right now, it feels like the world's standing still. But if you look to the land, it's a whole different story. From farms to backyards, wheels are turning, seeds are being planted, animals are getting fed, grass is growing, and families are giving their all to the soil. Because no matter how uncertain things get, the land never stops. So to all those linked to the land, John Deere says thank you. We're here for you because we all run together. Nothing runs like a deer.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
They're not close. They're closer to being entrenched in their respective positions than they are to an agreement. There is an expectation that Major League Baseball is going to ask the players for salary rollbacks. The first volleys that we've seen from Tony Clark, head of the Players Association, Scott Boras, super agent, are that they don't want to do that.
That's ESPN's Buster Olney talking about Major League Baseball. A lot of smoke here that Major League Baseball could get back to spring training in mid-June, and then games July 1st. It would make a lot of sense if they can do that in that order, if they can do it that quickly. But I think we said a while back, right? Maybe this just makes sense to me because in my mind, I've always said May and June are gone.
Yeah.
July, and I think I even heard somebody else say this at one point during the last couple of months and said, hey, wouldn't it be great to open things up around July 4th, kind of America, all that stuff? It makes some sense, right?
Great, man.
There's some sense to that.
Apple pie, hot dogs, fireworks, and the Astros getting beaten. I love it.
Well, there's even more sense, though, when it comes to baseball on July 4th.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's right.
Yeah.
And that would still allow them, I think, to get somewhere between 80 and 100 games in. So we'll see. Can you get the arms ready? Can you get all this other thing? There's so much going on. One quick thought. We're not going to spend a bunch of time talking will baseball come back. Again, these are all hypotheticals. But the biggest hypothetical is about the fans. And how much are these franchises losing? See, nobody cares, right? Disney said they lost like $1.4 billion in the first quarter, I think. And nobody cares.
Poor Disney.
That's exactly what they say, right?
Why should we? Why should I care?
They make $13 million a day.
You'll be all right.
And so we really don't care. I think NFL-wise, people are like, oh, you might not be able to have people in the stands. Well, Kamish, you make $40 million a year. Shad Khan, you're worth $8.8 billion. Owners, every one of you are a billionaire, basically. You guys have made a mint for years and years and years. You got plenty in the kitty here, right? And I get it. But at the same time, if you're running their business structures, this is very hard to relate. And I don't relate because I'm not running it. But if you're running a billion-dollar industry, Disney, NFL, those kind of things.
Well, let's be honest, you're probably in that tax bracket anyways. But
yeah, I'm close.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already got rid of 2 houses. I have about 10 more.
You have an outdoor fireplace, so I'm saying.
Yes, that puts me in that bracket. Firewood is expensive.
In Jacksonville, yep. All right.
And no propane. But that would put me in a different tax bracket.
I got
that would put me in Kingsbury's.
Talk about that. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
But it is a lot of money they're losing. A lot of money. And how do you make it up? Can you make it up? And the bottom line is you're probably not going to make it up. And for Major League Baseball, I wonder how the problems are a little different because the Yankees have an enormous amount of money. The Dodgers, the Red Sox, right? Well, the Oakland A's and the Tampa Bay Rays and the Pittsburgh Pirates and teams like that, they don't operate like that. Now, they have plenty of money and they make plenty of money. We're talking millions of dollars, but they're not producing like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Red Sox. It's not an even thing in Major League Baseball. So it is interesting to hear about furloughs and things like that in that sport. And I guess one other caveat here about the NFL, they haven't missed any games. They haven't missed their prime time. In fact, they haven't missed a damn thing other than OTAs, which isn't a moneymaker. So it's fascinating to hear the dollars part of it, to be honest with you. And I would assume to all of you listening, when they talk dollars, whether it's Disney or Major League Baseball or NFL, it kind of just goes one in one ear and out the other because it's so much money, and I feel like they're rolling in the dough, and they have been for a long time. It's like if McDonald's is losing a lot of money right now, they've made a lot of money for a long time. They should have something built up. And if they take one hit for a bad year, well, they'll probably rebound next year. Like, that's the way I feel about a lot of these businesses. Who knows if they will? That's the way I currently feel about them.
Let me ask you this. Let's assume that Major League Baseball, let's not say July 4th, let's say mid-July to late July, okay? That Major League Baseball comes around and maybe they finish the NBA playoff season, whatever it is. But let's focus on baseball right now, okay? And let's assume that Major League Baseball comes back late July. How much is that going to hurt Major League Baseball when you think about, well, that's when NFL season kind of starts up. And when I say NFL season, I mean training camp, right? But people love training camp. People love the storylines. People love, going, and people just, people follow their teams and everything. And football is officially back. Bring on the preseason. I mean, will this have a correlation to maybe, a down of a viewership of baseball because people are kind of get that football fever, Brent? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if baseball starts in the spring,
I get what you're saying.
People are already ingrained, like, all right, I'm following my team now. Let's see how they're doing this season. And by the time they get to July, it's like, all right, well, my team's doing this well, and I'm still following them. But to start, from anew in July when football season's right around the corner, how is that going to work for baseball?
Here's the thing. I think people will be so ready for anything that it doesn't matter. They'll watch probably more than normal. They'll probably go a little bit more normal if they're allowed. But forget all that. Major League Baseball, for once, sports aren't worried about competing with the NFL. This is the one time they're not. They need to get back to competing. That's the bigger thing. Competing with the NFL and not doing great ratings is better than not competing at all and doing no ratings. So it's really a non-issue, I think, in 2020 because they have no choice.
Sure.
Just get back to it and be able to play and sell hot dogs and people buy tickets and hear the crack of the bat. Those things are really important, more important at now. It would be worse if they lose the season. Yeah. But, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, at that time, are you going to smother the other sports a little bit? Probably. But there might be enough to go around, too, because people might have that itch, you know? And keep in mind, if people are not allowed to go, there'll be more eyeballs than ever on all of these games, even the NFL, because people aren't there. So TVs are turned on more than ever before. We just found that over the last couple of months. I mean, more people have watched the local news for the first time. I mean, for, no doubt.
Ratings are killing it for you, huh? I like it.
Yeah. I
Good
mean,
for you, man.
But that's just a small example.
Yeah.
The draft, the Michael Jordan documentary. These are examples that when something's on, people are watching more than ever.
Tiger King.
Yeah.
But you haven't finished it, though, right?
No, I've stopped.
My man, I'm proud of you, dude.
I just stopped.
You didn't buy into the hype.
Cold turkey.
You didn't buy into the hype. You got off cold. I appreciate it, man. It could have been easy for you, but I commend you, Brent Martineau. Hear that, Coos? We're not going to buy into your false narrative of Tiger King.
Tiger King feels like it's just come and gone.
Yeah, it's over.
Like it's over.
Yeah,
just wait till Nick Cage, Joe Exotic comes out, TV show.
No, I'll probably watch that. Not watch the documentary, though.
Did Tiger King run its course, or did Michael Jordan's documentary steal all the headlines and the draft?
Let's be honest. It was a bunch of cat people with mullets and crazy outfits. Was it really going to have that lasting power? No. Like, Tiger King was like, I don't know, like the denim jean tight jackets back in the 80s. Like, yeah, they had the run. Now they're coming back a little bit. You disagree?
I'd argue that because there is a movie coming, it had some staying power, right? Now they're working on a TV show because of it?
Kuz, you look at all the TV shows that have occurred ever in TV history and what have come of it. Like, come on. There's like 10 NICSs or CSIs or whatever. Like, it is like, listen, there's not going to be content for television, okay? So don't sit here and tell me, well, it was so influential that they decided to make a TV show out of it. There's so many stupid... Watch Adult Swim at 1:30 in the morning and tell me how essential a television show can be to society.
But are those being inspired by documentaries? That's what I'm saying, why it has staying power.
I just don't think so.
By the way, do you see the praying mantis eat the murder hornet?
Can we get into that real quick?
Did you see that?
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. But
there's a video of it.
Can we get into the narrative now of the Associated Press that obviously didn't listen to my speech yesterday about bees?
The Associated Press a couple of days ago, right? Yeah. Tweeted something out or shared a story, and it said it's not that big of a problem, right?
Brett, no, you read it, man, because it's going to upset me if I read it again.
Here's the title. By the way, Austin Lane, spectacular B segment yesterday.
Yeah. And one thing, if you want to go back and listen to it, cool. But if you don't, spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you right now, a little cliff note. The main takeaway of my TED Talk yesterday about bees is how important they are to our culture, to our society. Okay?
Absolutely. Honeybees especially.
Honeybees, exactly. So go ahead and read what the Associated Press had to say.
The phone has been ringing off the hook, by the way.
Yeah.
Can phones still ring off the hook? Phones are ringing
off
the hook. To get you, once school gets back in session for science classes everywhere, summer camps, I mean, you're going to be speaking everywhere.
Well, you better offer that Michael Jordan kind of money, then we'll see.
So this, AP Health and Science, I didn't even know they had a health and science branch, but good for you for following it.
Yeah.
Bug experts say don't worry about the so-called murder hornet unless you are a beekeeper or a honeybee. Do we have to tell these people that $30 billion of our ecosystem rely on the honeybee?
Hey, guess what? Brent Martineau learned something. Listen, I feel like I'm trying to lead a revolution right now, and listen, I get everyone's got their own little political views, and everyone, is the earth flat, all this stuff, and people want to start these crazy theories. Brent, I think my theory of honeybees being important is legitimate, okay? I think it should be taken very seriously. And now we have the Associated Press coming out saying, don't worry about it. They're just honeybees. They're just honeybee keepers. It'll be okay. I feel like I'm Pierce Brosnan right now in Volcano, and I'm trying to warn people like, hey, this thing's going to pop. You guys should probably watch out and get out of town, and no one's listening to me, so I have to put my life on the line to try to save people. That's exactly what I have to do now when these murder hornets come in and wreak havoc on beehives and kill all our crops, and all of a sudden everyone's hungry. Hey, guess what? I have sources, Brent. My sources tell me that people eat food. People need to eat food. So if you're going to say, well, it's not a big deal, it's just the honeybees. No, it is a big deal. So AP, step your game up, listen to my TED Talk from yesterday, and change your attitude. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to be coming into the show not having food because no one took this thing seriously.
Another day of Austin Lane waxing on poetic about the bees. Get it? Get it? See that?
I see you, Brad. I didn't even mention beeswax yesterday, but good job. I like it, man.
Let's get back to the NFL schedule. Is word out? Are you guys all seeing this too? Have I seen this correctly? Saints and Bucks week 1? That would obviously be like the kickoff game, right? Are you talking Drew Brees and Tom Brady?
Ooh, I like that, Brent.
Is that real? Did I see that earlier?
Well, can you quote your source, sir, please? And then
I don't even know.
Oh, so we're just throwing accusations out there now?
I mean, hey, did Dilla say it?
So bitter again. Let's see what we got here. Saints and Bucks. I mean, it makes sense though, right?
How cool would that be? Well, that'd be a pretty good one, right? Can you do any better? Who won the Super Bowl last year? Chiefs.
Yeah, but isn't that? Do we just kind of forego that?
They kind of did away with that last year because
Bears,
Patriots.
Oh,
well, they did.
Yeah,
the 100th year, and I think it was.
It was the Bears Packers.
Yeah, but weren't they thinking of doing like Chiefs Patriots again, like the rematch of the AFC Championship game? And they didn't do that, but they did Bears Packers instead.
Okay, that might be it. By the way, Nick Underhill of NewOrleans.football.com. NewOrleansFootball.com.
That's the Saints Dilla.
I guess so. I mean, he works at NewOrleansFootball.com.
So
I don't know.
Basically just tried to say he's more credible than Dilla.
He's got 32,000 followers, Brent.
He's got
it's more than you. Hey, it's more than you. More credible than you are.
That's true.
More followers than you got. So what do you bring to the table? So yeah. So
followers don't seem to matter.
Yes.
In terms of leaks.
So Saints and Bucks week 1. Mark it down. Let's go.
So that's a dandy.
I like that. Yeah.
That's a good one. Why? How much would you rather? Let me ask you this question. The schedule, by the way, coming out 7:30 tonight. It does not look like, by all accounts, and that was a good indication too, if it's Bucks Saints, that the rumor of yesterday where AFC would play the NFC, that's not happening.
No.
What also is not happening is backloading division games. And again, we talked about that a little bit last week. I'd heard mixed reviews on that. A lot of people ran with that, and I had heard, not so fast. So, and who knows? I've also heard the NFL schedule has been a very fluid thing even through the last week. So I think sometimes they have this thing ready to roll and hold on to it. This one might have been a late play on a lot of different fronts in terms of working the computers and spitting it out. It'll be an interesting story if somebody does gather that kind of information. Was this schedule just finished like yesterday or not?
And you bring up a great point. Who was the guy that kind of leaked information yesterday saying that it was going to be
John Clayton? John Clayton. It's something on a radio station, I think, in Philly about the AFC versus NFC, and it made some sense, by the way, because they were trying to, if you had to push back the season, you take away the conference games, which those conference games and division games come to tiebreakers.
And it's awesome because I love John Clayton, man. The guy's awesome. He's good for the game of football. He's got over 1 million followers, Brent. But listen, you put out something out in the airwaves, and you're not right. This isn't a 5,000 follower guy like Edo. This is a big guy. This is a heavy hitter, let's just say, in the NFL world.
Sounds like you just disrespected Dilla.
Well, I'm just saying, John Clayton. You kind of have a responsibility a little bit to, don't leak out stuff that's not going to be true. This looks like it's not going to be true. So shame on you, John Clayton.
Well, he did say a while back, I think, that don't expect any London games, so he's right on that one.
Yeah.
Matt Sturman jumps in, says Packers at Vikings apparently is a thing to open the season in week number 1.
I thought it was going to be a thing in general. Like it's a thing every single year.
So actually what the NFL is doing here is really a lot of divisional games. The leak for the Jags is a lot of people think it will be Indy and the Jags, right, to open the year. Was that to open the year? Indy?
Yeah.
Is that how?
Is that
what the schedule said?
Let me check it out. Just keep talking. I'll tell you in a second.
But I've seen that a couple places, not just.
Yeah. Indy at home to open things up, and then Tennessee. at Tennessee.
Yeah, so a couple division games right off the bat is kind of the way the NFL looks like they're going. So that's interesting. Here's my question for you. Schedule maker.
Me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Really just a feel. We were talking primetime, okay? You love primetime.
I mean, do you want me to eviscerate you again?
Yeah, you listen to like 2 people on social Twitter.
That's all I need,
2 people
man.
said
Hey, that's all I need, Brent.
Yeah, it's very nice of your cousins to jump in from Wisconsin.
Hey, I come from a very small family. You'd be surprised.
I take that primetime game away from you. Okay?
So no primetime game at all?
No primetime game.
I'm already triggered, but okay.
But I give you a 1 o'clock game on Thanksgiving.
No. Oh, I think okay. Hang on, bring it back. Bring it back.
Listen to the whole thing here.
He was ready to kill it.
Oh, dude, I was ready to go in. But I was just like, well, it's a 1 o'clock game against the New England Patriots, something like that. Okay, let's everybody calm down. Everybody relax. Oh man, Brent.
I'm asking everybody: would you trade the primetime game for a Thanksgiving game at 1 o'clock? This would have been the year to do it. They're playing the NFC North.
I know. Go ahead. You know what? Thanksgiving would be cool. I mean,
but by the way, I shouldn't say
there's
this.
no wrong answer.
This wouldn't be the year to do it because Detroit's here. Those games are always at Detroit and at Dallas.
Yeah.
So this wouldn't be the year to do it. But I'm just going to ask in general anyway, because the Jags are one of, I want to say 2 teams, but now it might be off a little bit. There might be like 3 or 4 teams that haven't played on Thanksgiving. I really thought the Jaguars were going to play on Thanksgiving 2018 because they're coming off the big year. They're expected to be decent again, and they're playing at Dallas. And that was the window to do it. Now, thankfully, they got their butts whooped at Dallas anyway. They had just lost to Kansas City. You wouldn't have wanted to see that on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But I thought that was the year that they would do it. That made a lot of sense to me. The Jags were finally coming off a big year. It made sense to give them something big. And they are one of the few teams that haven't played on there. It does not make sense this year because Detroit will be home and they don't play Dallas. But I'm just asking in general. I'd like to see the Jags get a Thanksgiving game, but would you trade the prime timer?
So here's the thing. It would be cool, right? Thanksgiving, the families gather around the table, Gardner Minshew leading a drive. Like, yeah, man. Like, that puts Jacksonville on the map. But what did I just say? I said it puts Jacksonville on the map. And the way to put Jacksonville on the map is to have a primetime game at home. If you play on Thanksgiving, it's going to be an away game, okay? So with that being said, I would rather have a primetime game in Jacksonville at home in front of Duval than I would having an away game in Detroit or a Dallas.
Oof. You are strong on this primetime stuff.
Brent, you know what? I've said my piece, and I'm standing my ground, sir. Standing my ground. What do you think? Or are you going Thanksgiving all day?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I think there are probably more eyeballs on the Thanksgiving game. Depends on your opponent. Like, listen, Detroit's not a great opponent, but it is Thanksgiving.
Of course.
Right?
Everyone's going to tune in and watch regardless.
Regardless. They'll watch paint dry.
Yeah.
As long as it's on a football field on Thanksgiving.
Well, to be fair, I usually miss the Detroit game because I'm at the beach for the block party for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
So I do miss it. And probably 1,000 people in Jacksonville miss it as well.
Okay, but they have TVs there, right?
At the Lemon Bar, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make it back for the second half.
I do, yeah. I make it back just in time for my wife to say, where have you been? So, yeah, just in time, Brent.
I think that would be a good trade for the Jags at some point. The primetime game, I mean, here's the thing. Primetime game against Tennessee, to me, has done nothing nationwide anyway. Like, it's not going to draw a ton of – it's not going to get people excited.
Yeah.
Could you have Minshew, if some of these reports are right, could you have Minshew and Tua? But I'm not sure Tua's playing in the first month of the year for the Cowboys. I'm not sure – Dolphins. I'm not sure he's playing at all. But especially early on. Like, it's doubtful Tua would be week 3 on a Thursday night.
Maybe he's weak. Maybe maybe he tears apart training camp. Maybe he's 100% healthy and they go with him right away.
He says he's going to be ready. I just don't get the sense that's their plan.
Yeah.
Now, plans get thrown out the window pretty quickly.
It does, but, you got Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's very serviceable. So I would probably roll with Ryan Fitzpatrick and see what you got first.
Let's just say this. If it's Minshew Tua, well, that's a fascinating watch. If it's Minshew Fitzpatrick, is what people around the country will say. Anyway.
The only thing better to me would be like Minshew versus Joe Burrow, right? Because, like, it's essentially, and Tua is kind of the same category here with Burrow, but it's like essentially you have the guy that nobody really believed in, right? The guy that went 6th round, that was on nobody's radar, taking on the guy who is the man, like a Tua or a Joe Burrow. Like, as far as storylines are concerned and polar opposites, that's how you make a football game right there.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
I feel like Dana White right now.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to.
Well, that's what Tua Tagovailoa taking on Gardner Minshew.
That's what the schedule makers do a little bit. I just don't know if they factor Jacksonville and Minshew into that equation. I think they do it with Brady and Breeze and the big market teams, and unless you got a superb story, Tua might be part of that story. But I think the NFL tries to do that as much as possible. That's evident with some of their openers and things. But And by the way, the networks have really pushed on that quite a bit.
Yeah.
The networks have, like Fox has done a tremendous job to get that Thursday night beefier and sexier, if you will, in terms of the games. Monday night, I think, is doing a better job of doing. Sunday night has become. They're going to get the games.
It's the marquee one.
Monday night, to me, Monday night has lost so much. Monday Night Football, to me, like I almost feel like Thursday Night Football is bigger than Monday Night Football.
Who's doing the Monday night commentary? Is it Tony? Is it Romo doing Monday night now?
No. He didn't move over. I think they might have made a play to try to get him over there. I don't even know if they fully decided who is. Is it still Tessitore and
Booger?
Booger, and I think it is.
Okay, whatever it is.
But again, Monday night it's just I think my reasoning for Monday night not being as big anymore is because they push it to ESPN, and ESPN's almost like it's one of the major networks.
Careful now, Brent. We're ESPN 690.
I know, but when they did that, they kind of took when they take it off network TV, like the network, Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS. They went outside that, and so they, in my opinion, they downgraded Monday Night Football by doing that in perception. Listen, ABC is not overall a super strong network versus the others. And ESPN is so strong as a sports entity that it's probably not realistic. I just think they lost a little something when they said, okay, we're not going to put it on ABC anymore. And plus, they just have not developed enough big name Al Michaels, Jim Nantz to do the games. Tirico did it for a bit, and I think that was pretty big. But they just have lost a little bit of the luster off Monday night, in my opinion. But the games did get better last year on Monday night, so that was at least a good thing in that regard. So I got one other question about the schedule. I want to take a break. The schedule is out there. The leaks are out there. My question is out there. Would you give up a primetime game for a Thanksgiving game? It won't happen this year. I'm just saying in general. And next up, we've got some quick hitters to get to, but one includes the schedule. How dangerous are the quarterbacks the Jags play this year? We already know their opponents, so we kind of know what the quarterback situation could look like.
Yeah.
How dangerous is that situation for the Jags?
Jordan Love could be the real deal, man. Whoops.
And also, what in the world, Earl Thomas?
Oh, I can't wait to get into this one. Hey. Oh, wow. Oh, this story was tailor-made for me, let me just say.
When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mild today. It'll be mostly sunny and breezy, and into early this evening, the temperatures will be in the 70s. Then we drop off quickly and down into the 40s overnight. Mostly sunny, pleasantly warm tomorrow. Highs 80 to 85. Saturday, clouds increase, and a few scattered showers develop with highs in the low to mid 70s. For the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Weather is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Right now, get 5 years, 0 interest financing on anything in the store. Beards Diamonds.
Hello?
Hey, boss, how's it going?
Hanging like a hermit.
I hear you. Hey, how's your mom doing? I know you're worried because she lives alone and all.
She's good, thanks. Every night she's getting dinner delivered. And every night she answers the door with her Safe Touch security app.
No contact delivery.
Yeah, and Safe Touch cameras are encrypted with all kinds of safeguards.
Yeah, you don't see headlines about Safe Touch systems getting hacked.
Exactly. Can't believe I'm saying it, but I just feel better knowing she has Safe Touch. She's got her emergency buttons, her two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time.
Boss, sounds like you have a love-hate relationship with SafeTouch.
That's complicated. Because being crooks and all, we still gotta stick to the Crooks R Us motto. Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Yeah, the struggle is real.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Where is this water coming from?
Who will deliver us lunch?
Why is the air conditioner blowing hot air?
Where can I get a tire fixed?
Do you know someone who can get marker stains out of the carpet?
What do we need to do to get the pool ready?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Hello, I'm Chuck Barnes. At Barnes & Cohen, we're pulling out all the stops to protect your health and ours. We have the latest software that enables our staff who are at high risk to work remotely without sacrificing first-class representation. Our offices remain open. We have a sanitized conference room, but maybe your best option, meet us here in our courtyard. Barnes & Cohen will continue to serve you in the safest way possible.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. 511 Tactical, House Bright Exterior, Riptide Motorsports, Old City Marine, Up the Gutters, Presto Plumbing. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
Redbox has top entertainment when you need it most. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are back for one last mission in Bad Boys for Life. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch. Prices may vary by location, subject to applicable taxes. Additional terms at redbox.com.
If you're a veteran in need of support or connections to community resources, call the Florida Veteran Support Line. Available 24/7 every day. All conversations are confidential and judgment-free. Talk to someone who's been there. Call 1-844-MY-FL-VET.
Hey Jacksonville, are you ready for some good news? Right now, you can score tremendous savings during the construction sale at Arlington Toyota. You choose 0 down with low payments or no payments until 2021. Now that's huge. Get to Arlington today, where you can drive away in a Toyota RAV4 XLE for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. That's a pre-owned RAV4 for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments until 2021. How about a Toyota Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. That's a pre-owned Tacoma for $285 a month with 0 down or no payments till 2021. Plus, with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And you get Arlington's 30-day exchange policy on any vehicle you purchase. As always, your safety is Arlington's priority. So go see them today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com. May offers for full details.
Hello? Hey, boss.
Why are you calling me?
Well, I was gonna come over, but I thought I should be practicing social distancing.
Oh, that's responsible of you.
Thanks. So I'm calling because I want to read you this new article in the Crooks R Us newsletter.
If it's about SafeTouch security, I don't want to hear it.
Boss, you want to hear this. The headline reads, Safer at Home with SafeTouch Security.
Safer at home with SafeTouch?
Yeah. It says, with people staying home more than ever these days, SafeTouch Security is the answer for peace of mind at home.
Yeah, the guaranteed response time, the two-way communicator, the video monitoring.
Yeah, and more.
Great. So what you're telling me is, whether they're home or not, the Crooks R Us motto is stronger than ever. Stay away from SafeTouch houses.
It's written in stone, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
This is a CMG Open for Business report. During these changing times, it's challenging for businesses across North Florida, big and small, but businesses are adjusting to meet your needs in a safe and comfortable way. Here's today's list of businesses that are open for you. Beards Diamonds, Appearance First Automotive, Under Pressure Sales, Lulu Grace Designers, Mayport CNC Fisheries, Red Boat Tours. If you're open for business, let us know by emailing us at openjax@cmg.com. Together, we're getting through this.
These can be unsettling times, but CGC Water Treatment wants you to know that they are there for you and your family. CGC Water Treatment has 50% savings for you. Purchase a Premier Softener and save 50% off a K5, Connecticut's premier reverse osmosis system. When the shelves at the stores are empty, it's a great feeling to have purified water right at home. Call 904-694-2242 or visit cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Do you hear something in the attic?
Where do you want to eat tonight?
Why won't the lights work?
Where should I take my car for engine work? Do you think I need to get this spot checked out?
Where did these bugs come from?
When are we going to paint the house?
These and hundreds of other questions are still being asked daily. Will the answer be your business or your competitors? Don't leave it to chance. Let Cox Media Group Jacksonville make you the answer to their questions. Contact us at 245-8732 or email buildjax@cmg.com and let's build Jax.
Isolating for coronavirus means survivors of domestic violence are trapped with their abusers. You can now get discreet help by texting 904-210-3698 or calling 904-354-HOPE. More information at hubbardhouse.org.
Call Zero Res. They are offering to clean and protect every surface in your home for 25% off. Also nominate a family in need, and Zero Res will clean the carpets in one home each day for absolutely free. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, we appreciate it. But your boss says you're working from home this week, so take us with you. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Right now because we're going through our first install today, and usually you go through an install, you go through the classroom, which I just did, and I feel like I got a pretty good understanding of what we try to install today. But then usually you go on the field and you get to walk through it, and then you get to practice it, so you put it in the practice. And like I can go in my backyard and I can go through steps, but I can't see the offense doing anything. I can't communicate to Miles next to me or to the DNs to make some calls here and there to get through it, work through it. So it's definitely going to be different. You just got to be really studious and kind of pay attention in the classroom or in the virtual classroom way more, and kind of go through the film. I think it's going to be a lot more just watching film and putting yourself into the shoes of the guys who are in it, because you're not going to be able to talk. I mean, we have Zoom meetings. I get to talk to. We're making our calls and our checks through the Zoom meetings, but still, it's not the same.
That is Joe Schobert talking about, this is day and age, right? Yep. I mean, it's tricky on him, no doubt about it. It's different. I think listen, if you add the tea leaves up, I am way more sunshine and rainbows than most anybody that even exists, but I'm way more sunshine and rainbows on the Jaguars roster than people are. I don't think Minshew's getting enough credit. I don't think what's coming back is getting enough of its due. I think the Jaguars are going to be way more competitive. I think they'll win way more games than people think. I don't know about way more, but more people than people they think. I'm not sitting here telling you they're going to go to the playoffs and all this stuff. But I think people seriously think they're going to be a 2 or 3 win team, and I don't think that. I think they're going to be more like a 6, maybe 7 win team. I believe. Now that might be a bit high, but. And again, that's not like, oh, wow, great. I get it. I'm just telling you I'm a little more sunshine and rainbows on the Jags than a lot of people. But I will say the tea leaves add up to be concerning. 1, because they're super young. 2, because they're making philosophical changes, I believe, on offense and defense. They're not going to just sit there and pound the rock and be physical and run downhill. Mm-hmm. They're not going to just play this 4-3 simplistic defense. They're going to use some hybrid 3-4, maybe even more of a full switch to 3-4. And then on top of all that, while they're trying to do this stuff, they have this period that you've got to be able to use and learn through communication and technology. And some people learn different ways. Some people are good on that. Other people are not. Other people have to take what normally would be an install, right? Yep. Is you get the install in a meeting, you go out on the practice field, you walk through it, and then you practice it.
Correct.
That's what this time is. Are they going to be able to learn enough in the camp time come August to be satisfying, to be playing fast, to know what they're doing, and to be the things that you want them to be, controlled, chaotic, violent?
Just rolls off the tongue.
Listen, I think that's a very fair curiosity for this football team. That doesn't add up to success. We could certainly sit here in November and the Jaguars are looking at 2-6 or 1-7 and say, listen, I mean, they've struggled on defense because they've struggled making this change. They missed April and May and mini camps in June. They're starting a rookie mini camp tomorrow on Zoom, not on the field or in the building. Yep. You know, they look. They did this, they did that. We could look back on because of these couple of months as we point to at least one of the excuses. We might also say they're just not very good. Fair enough. But I do think we could certainly have that conversation in November. For the outside world who's been very critical of the Jags, I think too much, they have a point in that.
They do. But you know what? I guess we're kind of reversing roles here because let me go ahead and represent the Sunshine and Rainbows Wisconsin Club, okay? And we're coming down to Jacksonville. I'm pumping a little sunshine in for everybody. Yes, to transition from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense, it takes time, okay? It takes effort. But if you look at the team as a whole on that defense, essentially you're asking a couple guys to play a new spot. You know, you're asking Josh Allen, all right, you have to probably drop back in a little more coverage, but keep in mind, Josh Allen did that in college, all right? Chase on, you're good to go. Yannick Ngakoue, once again, you're used to standing up, but you have to drop back in a little more coverage. Okay, that's fine. Taven Bryan, play your 5 technique. You played it last year, need you to play it better, but play the 5 technique. He can do that. Gunter, do what you've always done, be an animal. Got that. Al Woods, Avery Jones. Guess what? In a regular 3-4 defense, yes, you got a 2-gap, and you know what? It puts a lot of pressure on the nose technique because it's important, a 2-gap and a nose technique. But you know what? Let's go ahead and throw that 3-4 under defense in there, and let's have you play a shade. Essentially, what you guys have always played. So from the most important pieces, Brent, from the linebacking core, from the defensive line, not a lot of things have changed. Now, Miles Jack, his role changes a little bit, but one could say it gets easier because now he's not calling all the shots. Now he's not getting guys lined up. Joe Schobert, not worried about it, right? He's Puzz version 2.0. Not worried about it. Secondary, coverage has changed a little bit, but overall, I mean, the secondary, as far as, like, you know, things to know, it's not as detailed.
Actually,
as a
their
linebacker.
last scheme is really the trickiest part, usually is the secondary. The communication, some of the soft spots in that defense.
And there's going to be probably some more terminology and things like that. And they're still pretty young. Don't get it twisted. But I think overall, I mean, the transition won't be as hard as I think a lot of people will think it is going to be because,
Interesting.
Yeah, just because you have the pieces in place that have done it before.
Well, listen, I mean, I don't think it's brain surgery, but you still have to get 11 guys dancing on the same page.
Sure.
I mean, that's the beauty of football. It's
and we could not do that last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so
like I was playing, but they couldn't do it last year.
Like I said, I'm going to remain positive on this Jags team more than other people.
Yep.
But I get that part of it. Mm-hmm. I get that more than saying, well, Minshew's your quarterback or you don't have any talent. Yeah. I don't think that's the case. I think this team has some talent more than people want to admit. I think Minshew's going to be better than people want to believe.
Yeah.
But I do think there are some concerns, no doubt about it, and that's one of them. A young football team, this period could hurt young football teams more than others. There is no doubt about that, especially if you're making changes in the philosophies, in the schemes. That makes sense. All right, here's a question. Before we get to this Earl Thomas thing, oh, my goodness. Hey, Kuz, I have to dispel a rumor here. Somebody said on YouTube, watching, they don't believe.
Yeah, someone believes that you've already seen the schedule and you're playing dumb.
Preach.
I will tell you this.
Preach.
Austin asked me the same question in the break.
Preach.
He's like, you've seen the schedule, right? And I'm being totally honest with you.
Yeah.
I have not seen the schedule. I asked specifically. Mm-hmm. I could have seen the schedule by now.
His palms are pretty sweaty.
I asked specifically.
Your palms are pretty sweaty. Are they?
I asked specifically to not see the schedule until after the show. I did not want to know. I'm serious. That is. Do I have to swear on a Bible? What's the Boy Scout thing or something?
We believe you, but can I just sit back here and say you're so brave, Brent? All right, you are the Rosa Parks of sports media, where you didn't want to know, man. You wanted to be fair. You didn't want to come into the show today without a leak and say what the schedule was. So brave, so courageous. I'm proud of you.
Now that being said, I can confirm Dilla's schedule. No, I'm just kidding.
Right on the money.
No, seriously, but it's just funny that you got that. Because I really have not seen it.
By the way, they're doing the Pinocchio emoji.
Well, and here's the thing, too. So
That's great.
I told you what was up. So you commented on Dilla's stuff, right? And you said, I'm blocking him or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, that was like, well, then Dilla's right, and you know about it. Like, that's how I interpret. Once again, here I am interpreting things on Twitter, but that's how I interpreted it. So when we walked in here, and I sat down, we talked about, the schedule somehow being released, and I'm sitting here like this, listening to you go, I don't know if it's true or not. We'll see what happens. And, like, the whole time I'm thinking, oh, so you're just going to lie to my face now, dude. That's how we're going to do it? But I didn't know that you didn't know. Okay.
But I will say this. I mean, we had Dilla on. Dilla's been right before. I'm not discounting what Dilla's saying.
Man.
So I feel like I've seen the schedule now.
80%, man. It's all I'm saying.
I'm just telling you, I have not seen the schedule.
80%. It's all I'm saying. Get ready to get bumped up to 82%.
All right. Here's the deal. Quarterbacks that the Jags have to face this year.
Mm-hmm.
Phillip Rivers a couple times. What I want to know is, do these guys scare you? Is this a murderer's row?
Phillip Rivers scares me because he's always dominated Jacksonville.
He has, but do you favor more Phillip Rivers as the guy that's killed the Jaguars like a murder hornet?
Yep.
Or that is aging like he's going to need a cane by the third quarter?
Don't care. He was aging last year, didn't have a good offensive line, and he still tore the Jaguars apart. So does Phillip Rivers scare me? You better believe it.
Okay, so too scary.
Too scary.
Tannehill.
Derrick Henry scares me more, so no.
Okay.
Not scared of Tannehill.
Yeah, we're just on quarterbacks here, okay? Do you expect Tua to play?
That's the question. Yes.
You do?
I think he will.
Early?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
He's first-round pick.
But he doesn't scare me, does he?
No.
Like, I want to play a rookie QB.
Yeah.
But either way, Fitzpatrick doesn't scare me either, right?
No.
All right,
well, yeah, Fitzpatrick's had his run, though. But no, I'm not. The offense in general, no.
All right. Potentially Burrow.
No.
Not yet, right? Not with Cincinnati.
Doesn't have the talent around him yet.
Watson scares you?
Yes.
A couple times. He killed him in London last year.
Yep.
Stafford, does he scare you?
Ooh. Yeah.
Who do they have as wideouts?
They got Geronimo Allison from Green Bay. They just signed. They got the tall. I gotta look it up quick. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm embarrassed.
Well, I'm just I'm curious because you can make the case that the Jaguars secondary will be a big question mark, right?
Oh,
and so
they got Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, Geronimo Allison.
All right, we're really Galladay's the only guy that does much.
TJ Hawkinson.
Oh, tight end.
Yeah.
All right, so
Getting
Stafford
scared?
will put in the scary.
I'm scared.
Okay.
Shaking in my boots.
Tyrod Taylor or Herbert? Oh,
No.
the answer is no. Aaron
You're such a
Rodgers is
Tyrod Taylor denier, by the way.
Aaron Rodgers is a yes.
Or Jordan Love? No. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers
Ben
scares me.
Roethlisberger scare you or no?
Doesn't scare me. Not anymore. You know what? Eventually I grew up not afraid of ghosts anymore. I'm not afraid of Ben Roethlisberger.
Baker Mayfield.
The offense scares me.
Yeah, I'd say
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say yeah. That's
Yeah.
dangerous, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not on your P's and Q's that game. They could put a 40 on you.
Who you telling?
At least on paper.
Yeah, but
Kirk Cousins.
yeah, scares me. Adam
Who
Thielen.
they had in the draft. They had the kid Jefferson.
Well, yeah, they got rid
Yeah.
of Diggs and Jeff. Yep. Plus the tight ends too are good.
Lamar
Jr.
Jackson.
Next question.
Foles or Trubisky?
No. Sorry, Nick.
So here I am I counted, by the way, Rivers twice.
Yep.
Watson twice, the Tannehill and the no
twice.
column twice. Mm-hmm. So I've got 9 quarterbacks that are in the scary column and 7 in the And really, there's not a lot of hesitation between the two. There's not a lot of middle ground.
No.
It's either you're concerned about playing the quarterback or you're not.
It's not up for
but
debate.
9's a lot. Like the Jags last year, I don't think faced that. I think fortunately, you're always going to face Watson, but you weren't afraid of Jacoby Brissett now you are afraid of Rivers twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not the end-all, be-all, but I think it's worth saying. Keep in mind the Jaguars, a lot of people feel like they got a little fortunate in 17 because they played a lot of backup QBs, and they added up, and it lined up, and all this stuff. Just because you play a good quarterback doesn't mean you don't have confidence you're going to win the game. Like Detroit, all right, Detroit doesn't scare me. They're here at home. Stafford's a good quarterback. I'd put him in the scary column. He can light you up. But Detroit's, they won 3 games last year. I'm not afraid of Detroit. So it's interesting, but the Jags, this new defense, this young defense, have their hands full with some of the quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, and a good exercise for tomorrow, too, is what we should be asking is, what running games scare you, right? Because teams look at the stats from last year, they see the footage, and they see Calais Campbell's gone now.
Good call.
A team could start pounding the rock as well. So I think
Topic idea tomorrow.
Yep, put it down, Coos, put it on the list. What running teams scare you for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Yeah, they're fine.
We'll do the.
I'm going to forget about it, but it's whatever.
We'll do the only exercise.
We're going to talk about it. It's fine.
Tomorrow we'll do the only exercise that's more dumb than mock drafts and grading a draft, and that is predicting winners. Tomorrow the Jags go 16-0 here at Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
I like it.
It's really going to be interesting. Schedules are hard to do. Predictions are hard to do, especially when you're a positive guy like me. And this is a football team that won 6 games last year, despite a lot of people saying how piss poor they were, pretty much. 6 games isn't that far off from being 500. And 500 in the NFL isn't that far off from being a pretty decent season. Yet people think the Jaguars are awful and going to be the worst team by far in the NFL. Can you make the case this team could be a little better equipped to win 6 games than even last year's team? Now, what people will say against Minshew is he didn't beat anybody. But you're going to have a chance to do that again this year and not beat anybody. There will be teams on this on this schedule that you'll be like, oh, I thought they were supposed to be good. They weren't. There'll be the Bengals, the Dolphins, the Lions that you say, I'm not worried about them. Those are teams that maybe they'll finish under 500, and you're supposed to be, or should be.
I'll be honest, man. I cannot wait for tomorrow to come in here and talk about like I know what I'm talking about in terms of the schedule, picking winners and losers. And then when the end of the season comes around, I am completely wrong. Can't wait for that.
We'd have to go back to last year.
Tail was all this time.
I don't even know what we predicted.
I think I went 8-8.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I remember it was more wins than losses for one of you.
Well, that would have been me, probably. I don't think I'm going. I've been here for 12 years, and I don't think I've ever predicted the Jags to go under 8-8.
We know exactly how Brent Martineau's predictions went down. Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows.
I may have predicted them to be 7-9, actually, last year. I might have.
Probably
not.
I don't think so, man. We'll go back to the footage.
Yeah, remember, we thought Foles was like the real deal.
Foles could be the real deal.
Let's not remember.
Gosh. I'm an embarrassment. All right, let's end with this. Holy Earl Thomas.
So,
who's at fault in the Earl Thomas situation?
So to paint the picture real quick, so last night, I'm getting ready to go to bed, check my phone one more time, go on Twitter, don't know why, but I do. And I see people are retweeting Earl Thomas in a video message, right? And he comes out and he says, hey, Twitter world, just want to let you guys know that there's some information out there with TMZ. There's an incident with my wife. I want to kind of spearhead it and get in the forefront of it before it comes out. So you heard it from me first. The end. Okay. No detail. So I go to bed thinking, wow, Earl Thomas must have beat up his girlfriend, or I'm sorry, his wife. And you know how I feel about that, number one, Brent. Number two, Earl Thomas, man, like I have a lot of respect for that dude, right? Legion of Boom, one of the best safeties to ever do it. So I heard that, and I went to bed angry.
I thought the same thing.
I went to bed angry. Okay, I wasn't in a good mood because, like, now if you're the Ravens, what do you do? I mean, he's one of the best safeties in football. Do you cut him, or do you say, well, so all that thing. So I'm trying to get to bed. I wake up the next morning, and I see Earl Thomas trending, Earl Thomas wife trending, and gun trending. Read the story. Turns out that Earl Thomas got in a disagreement with his wife, leaves with his brother, goes to an Airbnb with some females, and ends up leaving a Snapchat open where his wife sees it, tracks down Earl Thomas, finds Earl Thomas with some girls, gets upset, and points a gun at his head. Now, keep in mind, the gun was supposed to be empty. The ammo clip wasn't in there. But if you know how guns work, if she ever took hunter safety course in Wisconsin, she would know that there's always going to be a bolt in the chamber as well. She didn't know that. So essentially, she was pointing a gun at Earl Thomas's head with a bolt in the chamber and the safety off. Here's the thing, though. Well, there's a couple things.
There's a couple things on this one.
There's a couple of things. So I'm not sure we have
I'm not
enough
trying
time.
to laugh.
Okay.
But there are a couple of things.
So last night, Earl Thomas, once he was on his Twitter thing, his video, he's like, hey, can everybody, send some prayers my way, man? Like, my family needs it. And I was like, well, no, I'm not going to be praying for you because you beat up your wife. And why would I send positive vibes and prayers to that? Like, that's ridiculous. No, man, we're all good. You're not getting any of my prayers, any of my well wishes. You messed up. But now, as I read this story, and Earl Thomas didn't beat up his wife. Yes, he cheated on her. Not good. Not a good thing. But then you had a gun pointed at your head. Crazy, chaos, whatever. It's like my defense today. Crazy, chaotic, violence.
Almost.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be honest with you, man. Okay, Brent, and then this is a little behind the scenes about who I am. Before I go to bed every single night, you can say I say prayers, I say well wishes, I talk to the man upstairs, I talk to a higher power, whatever it is, but I put good vibes out for my friends and my family in the universe before I go to bed every single night. Earl Thomas, sorry, man, but I'm all full. All right, I can't put your well wishes and your prayers into my bank right now. Okay. I'm like the DJ. I'm sorry. I'm like a bouncer right now outside of the nightclub, and we're at max capacity. You're trying to come in with Crocs and a tall tee, and I can't let you in, man.
It's like the Cheesecake Factory's full.
Exactly. Sorry, Cheesecake Factory's full. Can't give you any of my prayers or any of my well wishes. All right, because A, you cheated on your wife with Snapchat. That's why you don't get Snapchat. That's why you stay off Instagram.
Stay away from Jack.
And number two, your girlfriend almost shot you in the head, man. Now, in retrospect, like, we sit here and joke about it because nobody got hurt. Okay, that's the most important thing. But your wife obviously has some issues too, right? Because who points a gun at someone's head, even if you think the gun's empty? Still, man, you can't be doing that. So your wife has some issues as well.
She got arrested in those.
Yeah, but now here's the thing. Okay,
where's the brother come into play?
That's a good point too. Dude, there's a lot of things that just are shaky. Here's the thing though. Is it wrong? Is it wrong to say that, you know what? I respect Earl Thomas's wife because she's passionate. She's that kind of crazy, but you know what? She cares so much that she pulled a gun on her husband because she was that devastated. Can I sit here and say I respect it? Probably not, because we're in 2020 and that's a good thing to do. But you know what? Having a passionate wife like that, Brent, I'm trying to find a silver lining in this. Okay, don't look at me. Okay, don't look at me, Brent. I'm just going to say, though.
Can you play like Garth Brooks' Thunder Rolls or something right now?
Hey, you want to talk about a music video that I watched when I was like 6 years old that I shouldn't have seen? Talk about adult situations. The Thunder Rolls, Garth Brooks saw it on CMT. Anyways, yeah, just not a good situation, though.
Yeah, this is a weird one, right?
Yeah.
So he's not going to get in trouble.
No.
Right?
I don't think so. No. Why would, I mean.
Yeah, he's not going to get in trouble. But it looked like it at first last night when he issued because everybody's thinking Ray Rice was actually trending.
Yeah.
And so he's not in that category.
Yeah.
Instead, this is more one of shame.
Yeah.
One, because he cheated on his wife, that's out there.
Yeah.
Two, she almost, it could have been violent.
Exactly.
And three, his brother was involved in this sex scene.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing.
With these women.
How do you...
I think that's the only way I can say.
Yeah. How do you have a relationship after this, though? Like, if your loved one pulls a gun on you, like, you don't just go out to dinner the next night and say, like, hey, remember that time? Like,
no, I don't think so.
So
that's a tough one.
Are we going to bring up the big divorce word here, you think?
When he did that video, though, he said something like, she's let me see my kids and stuff.
Yeah,
it didn't sound like they were together.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, dude, right? You can't do that.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care if I get possessed by the most craziest demon of all time. If my wife pulls a gun on me, sorry, game over. Thanks for playing. Take half my money and I'll see you down the road.
This had a little Andre Rison kind of moment to it.
Yeah. Not good, man.
That was bizarre.
Yeah.
Hey, the NFL schedule gets released in a couple of hours.
What a transition.
I think Dilla should really watch what happens at 8 o'clock tonight. And we'll have it for you on TV, too. CBS 47 Fox 30 will be back on it to predict the wins and losses tomorrow on ESPN 690.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
I don't think that people would go from CBS to ESPN to watch a game just because of Tony Romo. You know what would